And Cardinals upset the Cowboys 27-17. Former Browns QB Jacoby Brissett passed for 261 yards, 2 touchdowns, also ran for scores. The Cardinals snap a 5-game losing streak. Brissett filling in for Kyler Murray, who's out with a foot injury. With a loss, dropped the Cowboys to 3-5-1. For the second straight year, Guardian skipper Stephen Vogt a chance to be the AL Manager of the Year. To winning the 2024 Vote again a finalist. Vogt and chatting with MLB Network what he took from this past season from the Guardians.
I'm going to be more proud of our group and our guys and just the resiliency that they showed throughout the year. I mean, we never quit. Those guys showed up every day ready to win. They had everything and more thrown at them throughout the course of the year, and they never let any of it get them down, and were able to win a division and didn't quite get as far as we wanted to, but I couldn't be more proud of the resiliency of our group.
Now, the winner's going to be named a week from tonight. Meanwhile, Jose Ramirez, a finalist for American League MVP. That winner will be announced on November 13th. You can now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas. Up next time for the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima here on 92.3 The Fan.
I don't feel like Gabriel's been that bad. I'm not moving on from him after 4 games. Let him have the bye. Let him have a bad game against the Patriots. I would give Gabriel at least 2 more games out of the bye. If it's trending in the wrong direction, well, then maybe Shador does get the final 7 games. And if that's the case, we'll say that this season will have unfolded almost identically to how I thought it would.
Catch Odyssey NFL insider Ross Tucker on Afternoon Drive every Wednesday at 4. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
On play calling, I'm going to have Tommy call the plays on offense. These are things that I'm always looking at. What can we do better? I have a ton of trust and faith in Tommy. He's more than capable, so excited for him. But bottom line is we have to just get better collectively. Just felt like Tommy is somebody that I believe in. Obviously hired him here a couple years back because I really believe in Tommy as a coach, and he's done everything that we've asked, and I just feel like this is the right time for this. I think the bigger picture for us is, as we looked at this week, what do we feel like we can do well? What are the things that we need to lean into? What are the things that we haven't been very good at, and we need to move on from those areas? And there's plenty of football, like there's plenty of plays. We just got to make sure that we're leaning into the stuff that's best fits our players.
Early board decision.
Yes.
This is Cleveland Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Wasn't his decision tone? Good morning.
Oh, we got to get right to the heart of it immediately, Kenny.
You don't want to. It's okay. I think it's depressing for you.
Depressing. 2 years in a row. Last year it was the Ken Dorsey. Was that last year? Do I get my years mixed up? That was the Ken Dorsey offense, but this year it was his offense.
He took it back.
Yeah, but now he's not going to be calling the plays.
I don't think you like talking about this at all. I think you think it. What does it matter?
Well, obviously the ramifications are interesting. Even if it may not. I saw a bunch of people yesterday determining once and for all what this means for Kevin Stefanski and his future, and I'm like, I don't think they're conducting business like that. I know that when we analyze the league and we look at situations, normally when a coach has to give up play calling, that means they're on the hot seat, and this is 2 years in a row. But obviously the messaging they continue to put out is that, this is all on Jimmy Haslam, and they're still paying the price for the Deshaun Watson move, and so everybody's going to be safe from now until eternity. So I don't know how you read any more into it than
I think it's
that.
wishful thinking by the fans.
It looks terrible.
I think it's wishful thinking by the fans.
It absolutely looks terrible for Stefanski because,
well, yeah, of course.
What does he do well? What can anybody say today in year 6? What can you hang your hat on if you're Kevin Stefanski?
There's been things he's done well in the past. I just don't know if he does them well anymore. Like, things can get away from him.
Things change. The league changes.
Yes, management, game management at times. I think there's been times in the past where he's done a pretty good job of taking care of the entire team, managing the game, not just calling plays and trying to get yards and trying to get points. Much to people's chagrin, I have felt that way. But as of right now, when we say hot seat, again, I think it's wishful thinking. I think people believe that there needs to be somebody answering for this. When you're 5-20, there's a yearning for somebody to be held accountable. And for the fans, it feels as if nobody is being held accountable in this moment. that exactly what you said is the worst possible thing for a lot of Browns fans to hear this morning. That none of it really matters. Now, you didn't say it doesn't matter, but in so many ways, it's like, hey, he's announced this before. He didn't get let go before. Everything that they're paying some price, or that the owner is paying the price for Deshaun Watson, that they're not going anywhere. I just think that's more of the same to a lot of fans, where these are things that they don't want to hear. I think, and it's not an indictment of the fans because you're 5-20 over the last 2 years. Don't take this the wrong way. They want somebody to be held accountable for this. There's a lot of blame going around. And because there's nobody being held accountable for it, it's going to make the fans even more frustrated.
Yeah, I got more of the indications, well, not indications, I should say, but I was just feeling that if anything, they would just depart with Tommy Rees, and instead they give him the play calling duties. And what is that? What does that even mean? You know me, I'm not Mr. Play Calling guy. I don't think play call. I think it's one of the most overrated things that get talked about.
Well, play calling
from fans in general. And I saw this was so funny yesterday. So the timing was perfect. Yesterday there was that video against the Dallas Cowboys. Was it on the road where it's a double reverse and it's Odell Beckham throwing the football?
That was COVID year, yeah.
Yeah, and it was awesome. And someone's like, oh, R.I.P. Stefanski's offense, or this used to be Stefanski's offense. I'm like, it's trick play. We ran 2 trick plays last week, and they were humiliating. Like, what are you looking for? What is the play calling difference going to be with somebody who's never called plays in the NFL?
Yeah, you either have, again, people are desperate. They want them to try anything. So when you try, you can run a lot of gadgets and things like that when you have Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. as your 1 and 2. You can do those things because you can trust them. They're great football players.
But Nick Chubb is your running back.
Exactly. But you can't trust them when it's Gage Larvidan. And so when you try it, like I don't like trying that sort of thing because, and it's exactly what Mike Vrabel said. Look, this could get in the weeds real quickly here. It's exactly what Mike Vrabel says. You got nothing. So once you, like, I didn't take that as a shot at Kevin Stefanski. I took that as a shot at, you guys got nothing. Once you're done with your gadget plays, you don't have enough to beat us straight up. So once you're done with your tricks, now we're just going to line up and beat you.
Do Browns fans think, because the offense isn't changing, right? We all agree on that. So just the order of the calls that you make, that's the difference? Like, think about how silly that really sounds. Like, oh, instead of running the ball on this down, Tommy Rees is going to come in and run a different play on that down, or throw guys.
Well, I think that
it's not going to make a difference unless the talent is upgraded. Now, I'll say, like last week, the offensive line before the bye week, the offensive line in pass protection looked the best it's looked all year, and it still didn't mean anything.
Well, the only thing that I could probably think to say is that maybe Tommy Rees has a better grip on getting guys to do what they're more apt to do, or getting guys from point A to B better. Like, if you're asking guys to do things that they're simply not capable of, and you're running the offense, that's on you. You can only do so much. And so if you are asking, it's such a tough thing because everything's results-based. I agree with you in principle about the play calling. Let me say that right now. Everything's results-based. Did the play work? Well, they got 5 yards and they got a first down. Okay, it's a great play call. It's a great play call. It could have been a great play call, except if it doesn't get 5, why would they call that? Well, it all worked out well until, they actually snapped the ball and my left guard ended up slipping or something like that. I'm not using any specific example. I'm just saying there's so many times where, it's the right call. It just doesn't get executed because they're allowed to play defense and get ready for you too. So I can understand where he's coming from when it comes to play calling, the overall theory of it. However, there's certain things, when I say it doesn't make sense, I mean something totally different when it doesn't make sense. Things that I would just do differently on certain downs, certain times. That's why the play calling thing, I think it means something to a lot of different people. This would be only towards if there was a successful result, then it's going to look bad on Kevin Stefanski because you can't see what these guys are capable of. But I don't know what they're capable of. I just don't, I don't think they're capable of much more than what they've shown. Like, I don't think that Tommy Rees is going to unlock Dylan Gabriel and all of a sudden it's going to be an air raid in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah, if Dylan Gabriel can't see the field and can't progress further along the first obvious thing the defense is giving us, And you've seen a lot of that in anybody doing the film study for what the Browns are doing. Like you have a quarterback who already had limitations, and now you're not even getting the advantage of his smarts or his experience with all the different games he had played. Like, you're getting none of those advantages, and then he doesn't even really have the mobility that people thought he had. People thought he was just going to take off and be able to run. He doesn't really seem to have that.
Yeah.
So what is it? What is the order of the plays that are going to be called? You guys explain to me why you think that would be. It kind of sounds like the people who said, well, it can't get any worse after Joe Flacco. So they're saying, well, it can't get any worse after Kevin Stefanski's play calls.
No, it can get worse.
You watch.
Oh, it can get worse.
And then what does this mean for the next guy up, the next quarterback up? Like, how do you feel? I'd love to know what the Shador people feel, how they feel about this.
Well, the only thing I'll tell you this.
Like, if you would have told them that, hey, the Cleveland Browns are going to be in total disarray. They're going to be eliminated from everything when your guy finally gets a shot. And then somebody who, I don't know anything. What do you hear about Tommy Rees? I heard he was like an up-and-coming guy in college, but now that he's calling the plays of the NFL, how would the Shador fans have felt about that?
Yeah, but anytime. Well,
I would have told you that before the year started.
I think that they would have been, if we're just talking about the fans that have dropped in as Shador fans, I think that they'd be surprised. I think any Browns fan would go, yeah, get comfortable. We've been through this many times with many other coaches
before. I think they'd probably be saying, maybe a gap year would serve our boy well. Maybe just taking the year off and restarting this thing next year would feel better.
Can you take a gap year in Canada, or does that put too much stink on you? I'm dead serious. I want to know. Can you do that as a quarterback? That might be a viable option for some out there. I'm just saying. I'm just pointing that out. There might be some Joey Aguilar in Tennessee. Maybe you want to take a gap year in Canada before you come on back down to the States and see whether or not you can hack it here in the NFL. I'm just throwing it out there, guys. Anyway, I think this can mean a multiple things, but because we saw it before, I don't think you can guarantee anything. I can't guarantee that he's on the hot seat. But Daryl, I think Daryl might disagree to some level here, because Daryl was on Afternoon Drive. Now, we have Daryl on Mondays at 8:20, but this was obviously made after Daryl was on with us, so Daryl was on Afternoon Drive. And he compared him to Warren Zevon. He says that Kevin is a desperate man.
Desperate move. Last year it was, I think, Kevin just throwing his hands up and basically saying, hey, y'all wanted Ken Dorsey here, so have at it. This one feels like things are just so bad. Let's try anything to shake it up. Not going to bench the quarterback. You can't bench any of the receivers because, quite frankly, that's all you have to work with. And so, well, what can you do to make it look like you're trying to do something here? Okay, we'll give up the play calling. Let's let Tommy Rees go ahead and handle that. So that's what that felt like to me today.
That's what Daryl said about it. Do you have any thought about Daryl saying that he's desperate? Do you think that Kevin is acting desperately?
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously a level of desperation. This is the one thing he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to give up his play calls. Like, that's the one thing that he feels like he's made his bones in this league doing. And so, while maybe this will, and this is the argument we tried to make last year, maybe this will allow him, in delegating that, to focus on all the other things going on during a football game. But it's like, it's year 6. Like, you already should be accustomed to being able to handle all the challenges of being a head coach. Be kind of scary to me if all of a sudden this unlocked to Kevin Stefanski that could pay attention to everything else. Like, well, he gets paid a lot of money. He can't already do that.
Well, there's another thought that I have, but I'm going to wait for it maybe for 6:20 because I want to get to some people here in a second. 216-474-0092. Zagura was asked about it yesterday, about what Kevin Stefanski's role is now that he ain't calling plays again.
Yeah, he's going to have to be that CEO. He's going to have to be that master motivator. He's going to have to spend more time with the defense and say, hey, here's how maybe I would be attacking this, and something to think about if the offensive play caller is similar, comes from a similar background. So he's going to have to, be involved in everything, help special teams become a little bit more consistent. All of it. That kind of all falls under the head coach, and really kind of, I think, now has more opportunity to focus on in-game management, and then outside of games, just more leadership, motivation, accountability, all of those things. And so he's obviously going to still be very involved in the design of, I would think, working collaboratively with Tommy Rees, but it just gives him an opportunity to focus, I think, on every aspect of the ball more than he would when he was still the play caller on game days.
Yeah, if I got to respectfully disagree with Nathan. If he wants to talk about game management and those type of styles, fine. The motivation, he doesn't come off as a motivator to me. The leadership and accountability thing. I mean, these are good things to say, but remember, this was a guy who was a head coach when Jadeveon Clowney had it out with players in the locker room, and then continued to be on the football team until December when things really hit the fan. So when it comes to accountability, I got a long memory. I don't know if that really
he doesn't
sticks
really
with me.
I will say, and I've had other just on a very lower level, like high school football coaches. They always can't believe. God, I got one in my ear every day. They can't believe that Stefanski never seems to bench anybody. Like if they run a wrong route or if they make some sort of gaffe. I'm like, do they do that around the NFL? And then I'll watch other NFL games. I do see guys do get kind of taken out. Like they seem to want to avoid at all costs any appearance of, we're disciplining somebody. They don't really ever do that. You notice that. The Browns lose a lot of games, but there's not a ton of discipline that they kind of come out and are forthright about. And if it does happen, you never hear about it because they don't want the media to know.
No.
And it's like, you can sometimes use the media and go public as a way to kind of get after somebody who's not doing what they're supposed to do. Because sometimes in-house stuff doesn't work.
So
sometimes guys need to be shamed and humiliated.
I'm going to tell you what I think of it, and then I'll let you guys stew on it. I think you're probably getting ready for other quarterbacks. I think you have Dylan Gabriel here. I think he wants to get a different set of eyes with Dylan Gabriel. And then I think that, if you got Tommy Rees, who has been working with the QBs, I know he's a former tight ends coach here, but who has been working with the QBs. You're getting ready to go into, I think, the young territory there with, as long as Shador's back isn't locked up. I know he didn't practice yesterday, but I think you're getting ready for other guys. It's like, Kevin really hasn't worked with him. So you're going to know more about what he's comfortable with the guy who might have been working with him. Has Tommy been working with Shador? Was Tommy working with Dylan Gabriel more than Kevin was? And maybe he's going, you know what? Maybe you're more apt to know what makes him comfortable than I am. Because you've worked with him, you may know him better. Or it is just a Hail Mary move, and this guy, his days are numbered. 216-474-0092. I'll see where you guys stand on it. What does it mean? Does it mean anything to you? Because it's happened before, and he kept his job after that. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app. When you get to work, watch us for free on YouTube Live. It's fantastic.
Hey, everybody, it's Andy Baskin for
offer. Gives you more flexibility than ever before. That's why I trust the Young Team. You should too. Google the Young Team and start packing.
Traffic is light 480 east from 176 to Warrensville Center and 77 north from Wheatley to East 9th. This is Joe Checkeye for 92.3 The Fan.
You'll hear the latest from Browns practice as it happens. Basket and Phelps, weekdays at 10, 92.3 The Fan.
Coming up at 9 o'clock, the Culligan Man going to join us. Jason Lloyd from The Athletic. We'll see what it means to him. I think the walls are closing in so many ways. I think the situation is getting away from Kevin. I think you're kind of throwing things against the wall. I wish he was trying to prove a point because, again, I don't think it's fair that he has to sit there and answer questions that are really big picture questions. That Mary Kay saying that he's the spokesman for the team during the season, it doesn't wash. And I don't care about other teams and how, a lot of other teams don't have the GM talk during the season. Okay, but you've done it the first 5 years. So when you do it, it becomes standard. And when you're in the middle of a bad season again, and then you don't speak to the media, and we got the trade deadline coming up today. If he wants to speak this week, that's great. It'd be great to get the general manager on the record. But when you have a head coach having to answer questions, Daryl had to ask the question, and then Daryl's like, I know this isn't your job to answer this. It's tough. It puts people in a tough position. So I wish I could say that he's proven a point going, okay, here it is. Everybody else has a chance to take a look at it. Look at what you don't have, because it probably won't get any better. But at the same time, you're not going to you shouldn't throw your own players under the bus. I think that there is such a thing as these situations just dry up after a while, and it ain't going to work. And a separation probably would be maybe best for everybody at the end of all this if it's going to this level where he just can't get a grip on it. Because the more I look at it, the more I go, I just don't think you have a grip on it right now. I don't think you have a grip on it, and you don't know where to start. So you go back to the beginning and take a look at everybody as it's going on. But the whole motivator, leadership thing that Nathan was saying, I've never really thought that about him in 6 years. I've never accused him of being that in 6 years, and I'm not going to start now. So, if you need a guy to get fire and brimstone, that's already way out the window. So his role as an executive, being the guy who oversees the game, okay, fine. But all the other stuff, that doesn't compute with me. And if it's your offense and your offense is stagnant and maybe you're wondering whether or not you don't have the right ingredients to it or you're just not doing it, okay, I guess it's okay to take a step back. But it feels as if the season is, I think the season is getting away from him. And this is a move to see whether or not they can get that back.
Well, the question
and
is,
I don't think they can.
The question is the job getting away from him then? I'm seeing the early reaction to the start of the show is, why are you guys covering for them? This was clearly
covering
dictated.
For what?
This was clearly dictated from the top. Well, if that's the case, then he's just getting fired at the end of the year, right? Why would they want to keep somebody if they have to tell him what to do?
Covering for who?
For the organization and for Stefanski. I don't really
What's
understand.
there to cover for Stefanski? He just gave up play calling. He's the head coach of the football team. He's won awards technically for his play calling. What do you mean I'm covering for Kevin Stefanski?
So if that is the case, then
who the hell heard that and thought that?
You guys are probably all in agreement then that he's getting fired. Why would you keep a coach? And I guess, why is he even coaching out the string? Is it because how bad it would look the rest of the year?
Because you're a head coach of a football team. You want to say you didn't quit on anything. That's why.
No,
you're getting paid to do it.
Not quitting. Not him quitting. I'm saying, why? If this is the Browns dictating this 2 years in a row, they just would have fired him, wouldn't they have?
You would think.
What's the point of keeping it?
Unless they just want somebody to be happy that they have a job, and I don't think Kevin's just happy to have a job. If that's dictated, then fine. I'll call it out for it being dictated. But I need to know if it's dictated or not. It's the second year in a row he's done it. Is he just supposed to stand there and take all of this if it's dictated? If we're talking about covering for people, wouldn't that be covering for Kevin? If it's just dictated from on high? Well, it can't be. No one would make a decision like this. It can't be Kevin. It certainly couldn't be Kevin. What does that sound like? And then if you want to talk about covering for anybody else, how could you cover for any of this? How on earth could you cover for any of this? I got last year's second round draft pick tweeting trade and then deleting the trade. What's there to cover with that? I can cover up for that? I want to know. If anybody thinks that, please be my guest, and I'll be more than happy to make you look like a fool. 216-474-0092. I don't know. I'm not looking at it. My screen is blank. I haven't looked at it all morning. But if that's the case, what you can't cover for 2 and 6. There's no cover anymore. Excuse me. You really can't cover for 5 and 20. You really can't cover for some of the worst offensive football you've seen from 1999. What is there that you can cover for here? There's nothing. All the blankets, everything are off. Everything's exposed. 216-474. You already know the number. Kevin in Georgia, hello.
This is dysfunctional organization 101. The ship's going down. What do? You put a body out in front of you to catch the bullets. Kevin Stefanski is a punk. He doesn't know how to motivate anything. And this notion that he's a great offensive coordinator, he has never outperformed at any level. What was his offense with Nick Chubb? Oh, let's run the ball. And then when Nick starts running the ball, well, because we have a good offensive line, we'll throw a couple play-action plays. Oh, wow, that's amazing. Nobody's ever done that
So you've never thought the offense has been successful at all?
It's never outperformed because of Kevin Stefanski's way that he calls it.
What do you mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?
You have a good line. You have a good running back. You run the ball. When they start feeling the run, then you call play action and throw the ball. That is not innovative football.
What? So you want them to do things that didn't work when they were winning double-digit games and going to the playoffs? You wanted them to do something different those years?
No, but I mean,
okay. So Kevin, he did call plays right those years. I want to make sure that. So you were willing to say that. So I guess he's not a punk then in those years. So when the plays work, you're telling me when the plays work,
same thing he's doing now.
When the plays work and you have good players, Kevin's happy. When the plays don't work and you don't have good players, then I guess Kevin in Georgia believes Kevin in Cleveland is a punk.
A great coach that you say Stefanski would be able to innovate something and develop players.
I don't say that he's a great coach.
Right?
I don't claim that he's a great coach. I've spent 20 minutes saying that he's not a great coach.
Well, you either get a great coach or nobody.
But you just proved my point. If you're only going to be results-based, then you're just going to call the next coach a punk, because if we still don't have the good enough players to do it, then they're all just going to be set up for you to call him a punk then, Kevin.
He in the sand and says nothing. No, he's a punk because he lets the players walk all over him and the whole season run away. That's why he's
I'm not gonna disagree with the players walking over him. I'll tell you that. I'm not going to disagree with that.
Yeah,
but I mean, if
that's what makes him a punk. He's a bad coach because they don't win. He's a punk because he's soft.
I want you to go back on the Odyssey app and listen to what you said about your reaction, about your reasoning of how the plays were being called, and then come back to me tomorrow or the day after that, because that was as silly as it gets. If you think, like, listen, if you think running the same plays with Gage Larvidan instead of Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry is silly, I agree with you. That's desperate. That's where I totally agree with Daryl. I totally agree with him on that. It is desperate. He's been acting desperately because this is getting away from it, and there's got to be common sense to it somewhere. So there has to be something that tells you that, yeah, your job is on the line here. And everybody in the world who wants to sit there and make excuses for him, you can't continue to do that. Even some of the biggest excuse makers for the guy have started going, I'm not necessarily sure. Where's Dan Orlovsky to his defense?
Yeah.
Where's Ross?
I think
is Ross coming on today?
Is
Ross going to threaten the fans and say that if he gets fired, he's going to get a job next year and he's going to be a great head coach? Because, again, it all helps out each other. Like, just because we're yelling at Kevin this morning doesn't mean we don't have anything left over for Andrew Berry. Because I don't know what I would do. I mean, poor Gage Larvidan, I'm using him as an example. He's a try-hard guy. That's what he is. But I'm just using him as an example of, yeah, this is what you have. You have a dearth of any talent at your wide receiver position. You have a dearth of talent on your offensive line that's gotten old in a hurry. And these are important places. Your defensive line is finally good. You tried to supplement that one year by just signing a bunch of guys to one-year deals. That didn't go well for you. I mean, again, it's all you got the hands, the boots on the hands, and you're just trying to stomp out the mice as they run over the kitchen floor.
The one thing I would correct is that the offense this year with Joe Flacco looked nothing like the successful down the field, vertical passing game offense that they had with Flacco a few years ago. Now, we could say there are reasons why, but what is the biggest indictment, I think, this time around with Stefanski is that obviously you didn't open it up for Flacco. It did look like Flacco was washed. It was a lot of underneath stuff. And then he goes to Cincinnati, and he looks like Joe Flacco from, a few years ago when we made the playoff run. Mm-hmm. So you didn't run the same offense. Is it because you don't trust any of the pieces and parts? Then, okay, I understand that because their offensive line is not what it was 2 years ago. They certainly do not even have, even though they have some of the same weapons, it's just not remotely the same in terms of production with those guys. So I do think he has to answer to those questions. Like, why is that the way it is? Why couldn't you rekindle any of the stuff with Flacco? It's the same guy. His arm strength is identical. It's no worse than it was.
I mean, go with this. Again, if you're just tuning in, it's not to blame one guy or the other. They're all at fault. Did you or did you not run a jet sweep, I believe? Did you run a jet sweep with Malachi Corley last 2 weeks ago? There was a Malachi Corley. He got signed to the practice squad on August 27th. Okay? That's a guy who's expected to contribute. Isaiah Bond, put him on the side of a milk carton. Okay? That's a guy that you signed for what and you gave a 4-year deal to, who's expected to contribute. Again, poor Gage Larvidan just keeps getting brought up here. I feel bad just because I keep having to use him as an example. You're getting Cedric Tillman back. They're acting as if Cedric Tillman is some sort of triumphant return. A guy who can't run the right route. And wasn't able to run the right route when Joe was throwing to him 2 years ago. Right route. I mean, this is what you have. Yeah, when you got some better guys and they're with you and in your system, yeah, you're going to be able to run some things differently. So I don't expect it to be any grand change with Tommy Rees. If it is, well, yeah. Okay, then I guess he's really that much of a fuddy-duddy and really that goofy. But, I mean, you have what you have. I mean, you can cook a dinner. It'll fill you up, but it ain't going to taste good. 216-474-0092. I'm going to get to you guys. What does it mean? Does this prove that Kevin's on the hot seat? Was it even Kevin's decision? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. We got John Greco, 8 o'clock. I almost said Daryl. We got John Greco at 8 o'clock and Jason Lloyd. Culligan Man, 901 on the Fan. Peter and Company Jewelers in Avon Lake. PeterJewelers.com. If you're thinking about
first fill up, and save 5 cents every day. Get member-only offers and stackable fuel savings in the palm of your hand. Find it in your app store, True North stores, and True Rewards. Fast, friendly, clean.
Headline sports news every 20 minutes from the University Hospital's sports desk. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
That's going to end up being a segment later on. Now I'm really annoyed. You brought up something completely different from what we're talking about, and now I'm really annoyed. ESPN and the YouTube thing didn't get going still?
There was such outrage all day, and it kind of got bigger and bigger and bigger.
It's getting ridiculous.
And then I had to ask, I'm like, did that get resolved last night just in time? Because in the old days, this stuff got reversed in the 11th hour.
Yeah. And now they're just more than willing to just jump right into it and go after each other with it. Okay, great.
When the companies own their own service, why would they go with anyone else?
All right, more on that coming up here in a bit. Also, Neutral Zone with Rat Boy and the Hog, that's coming up at 8:45 this morning. I hope everybody saw the George Pickens play. That might be up and about last night because I thought that was ridiculous. But another champion's pose for the human condition of what refereeing is. That coming up later. 216-474-0092. Yeah, when it comes to like Kevin and the play calling and stuff, like, yeah, guys, like some of it is still going to be, what do you got? And I want to see, guys, it's not an anti-Tommy Rees thing at all. And Kevin has not done a good job managing this football season. I don't think Kevin has done a good job leading this football team this season. I think the season is getting away from Kevin. And so I'd like to see what Tommy Rees does, because if Tommy Rees, you've had how many different examples? I'll tell you this, now we're just looking for evidence. And so like with Joe Flacco down in Cincinnati. Well, Joe Flacco's got better people to throw to. That's an indictment on Andrew. Joe Flacco's done a better job in that offense. That's an indictment on Kevin. Baker Mayfield got better people to throw to. That's an indictment on Andrew. Now he does. You haven't been able to keep that standard before. And because he's in a different offense, that's probably just an indictment on the Browns altogether, including Kevin. You had last night Jacoby Brissett play very well for the Arizona Cardinals. Indictment on Kevin? Indictment on the Browns?
It seems like every game with Flacco, we've been wondering about that. Every time we see our guys play, we wonder about that. And then last night, Jacoby Brissett, looks just fine. Yeah, that obviously wasn't somebody. When's the Jameis Winston discussion?
Now, I would love to, even though I think a lot of people have had that. Well, eventually, I think a lot of people have had themselves arguments about Marvin Harrison Jr. and just how good he really is. But I'll take Marvin Harrison Jr. over anything we have here.
I think he just needs any other situation of what he's in.
Still an indictment on Andrew. And so if I get to Tommy Rees here, and Tommy Rees, this offense opens up, and Kevin and Georgia can call back and say, this is what I was telling you about, and you got mad at me, Ken, and I'm right, and you're wrong, and Tommy Rees, and I'm just using him as an example. I love the call, even though we disagreed with each other. I would love to see the evidence. More evidence, the better, because you're going to need to stack the evidence to make a change. That's all there is to it. Because I know that, it feels like the walls. I think the walls of the season feel like they're closing in. But, man, I've seen a Browns coach know he was getting let go. And I've seen how that final month is played out. And it's quite sad. Quite sad. But for a guy like him, I don't know if there's any guarantees that I don't think there should be any guarantees that he's staying. And I don't think that there are any guarantees that he's leaving. So we may just do all this crazy experiment coming up next year. And that's why I say it's the wishful thinking stuff. But my God, you look at what is mounting here on both of these guys. Again, it cannot just be Andrew or Kevin. It cannot be either or. It's everybody involved. There's no way there's one evildoer that's leading to all this.
The whole thing is broke. The whole thing is absolutely broke. And obviously, the caller was all over, well, Stefanski doesn't overachieve. Well, I disagree there. I think he has overachieved a few times with their situation, but that's irrelevant today. That's irrelevant today because they are not overachieving. And even though I'm the one guy, I'm the poster child for saying, I didn't have very big expectations this year, but on the other side of things, to move on from Flacco 4 weeks in to during the bye week or the week after the bye week, to be moving on from the play caller, like what else is in store for this season? In situations like that, people get fired. In situations like this, everybody gets fired. So the only question next is, can these guys legitimately save their job? Because the talking points out of Berea and everything they are saying are they're confident in everybody's return. Jimmy Haslam has been on record a couple of times this year already and saying, no, the worst things to happen to this team, that was on him. But the reality is, I mean, everybody loses their job in these situations almost 9 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Let me get to Mike in East Cleveland. You're first up on the Fan. Hello, Mike.
What's going on, Ken? What's up, Lima?
Hey.
All right, I don't want to, take too much time. You know me, I'm going to get right into it. So I don't think it's on Stefanski, like it's all on Stefanski. I think he's really the scapegoat for this collaborative groupthink stuff they got going on. I know he and Andrew have been equally bad. I really don't respect their football IQs, not as men. I'm not saying I don't respect them as men, but their football IQs. Andrew Berry's best move was flipping a washed Amari Cooper for a third-round pick. Stefanski derived his success off Kirk Cousins and Stephon Diggs having one good season in Minnesota, and Stephon Diggs was so miserable playing under him that he got out of there. And are there any Kubiaks still in the league?
Clint. Yeah, Clint.
Clint. Okay.
Oh, they're brothers. There's another Kubiak out there too.
Isn't he a college coach? But the point I'm making is that that offense is so outdated. We're almost to the point where there are no Kubiaks in the league. At least Kyle Shanahan is still in the league with people running that offense. So Kevin and Andrew, they seem to get the credit for being Ivy Leaguers, like they're just heads and shoulders above everybody else. But they went there to play football. I think people forget that. They played football. They got non-traditional athletic scholarships. So it's not like Penn and Harvard was like, these guys are so smart, we got to have them. And I think we start to see it. They're almost so smart, book smart, that they don't have football common sense because they don't make right moves, man. We give them credit for being so smart, but they not. I can't even blame the players. We got Grant Delpit having a career year. Sidebar, Denzel Ward has been having a terrible year. But you got guys like Miles and Devin Bush playing hard. So I can't say it's the players, so it got to be upstairs, right?
Well, hold on. Do you think that so you believe this team is better than what they are?
From a talent collective standpoint, I do.
Because I ain't said nothing. I'll tell you what, I haven't said anything about the defense.
Because you can't, because they balling out. Like I said, Denzel Ward is having a pretty down year, but I used to play cornerback, so I watched that position a little too closely. But everybody's playing.
Congratulations on all your success.
Don't do that. Don't do that. You the one out there with the house in the cul-de-sac in Strongsville, man. You got it.
I don't live in Strongsville.
Well, somewhere you live out in that nice cul-de-sac. If I'm getting the city wrong, Lima being quiet because he out there in Rocky River with his feet up. Y'all doing well, man. Don't do that.
Mike in East Cleveland, thank you very much for the call.
The Clint Kubiak thing. The Clint Kubiak
It's Clint Kubiak, who's his brother. I kept wanting to say Cliff, and he's the OC at San Francisco.
No, Clint is running the best offense right now in the NFL. In Seattle. Yeah. And he is a name that I know for a fact I brought up last year when they were looking for another OC. There were some other people in town that had mentioned him because of the connections. He did coach with Stefanski in Minnesota. He was lower level back then.
You're right.
And he has been outstanding. They instead went and got Tommy Rees. And look, I sent some tweets out last week before any of this happened, before the change of play calling, and I said, look, if they don't give him the play calling, then why did they hire him? What was the point? Well, a week later they made him the play caller. So we'll see if this ends up working. But Clint Kubiak is somebody. I know that name is going to resonate with people, and now he's doing such a great job in Seattle. Tommy Rees, he's not done this at the NFL level before. So you want to talk about desperation? Maybe it works. Maybe he's amazing. Maybe it really was the play calls.
Just a pup, 33 years old.
My guess is that won't be the case. My guess is you'll see a lot of the exact same struggles, and then where do they turn? What's the next move? Is it just going to be to throw all the quarterbacks under the bus? They're running out of ways to frame this as anything other than, none of us are doing our jobs very well right now.
216-474-0092. John Greco in just over an hour. What to expect when you change play callers in season. And Jason Lloyd. Was this Kevin's decision? Jason will give us his thoughts on that coming up at 9 o'clock. Coming up in 5 minutes, could we be saying goodbye to a hometown kid today as the trade deadline looms at 4 o'clock? There's nowhere else to go. 92.3 The Fan, 92.3thefan.com, the free Odyssey app, and on YouTube Live.
Anthony Lima for Fanatic Sportsbook. You've been hearing me talk so much about
by following the Browns playlist and 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Catch Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin live on YouTube each and every weekday from 2 to 7 p.m.
One hour away, John Greco going to join us on the show about last night, coming up at 7:45, where this might be one of the most pressure-packed jobs in the country, and it's open. Do you want to speculate on some names coming up at 7:45?
Ooh.
We were getting texts yesterday about that certain job.
Boy, it's been a month of that speculation. Well, everybody else just joined the party yesterday.
Well, yeah. Well, you got my phone blow up a few weeks ago when you decided to post the odds for that job.
But it's
7:45. We'll tell you what that job exactly is. It's a big job.
It is tough because high school stuff, like we have fun.
Now you're giving it away.
Yeah, we have fun with the high school stuff, but compare it to like college and NFL are big time jobs, and people when we talk about national searches, but now there's NIL in high school.
Well, yeah.
So should we start to cover high school like it's professional?
I'm not yelling at 17-year-old kids. That's not.
Well, what about the coaches? Can we do it for the coaches?
No, I'm drawing a line. Ain't gonna happen. No.
Disappointed in you. Actually, I'm not disappointed in you. You're right on brand. Never mind. Continue on.
216-474-0092. I'm just going to say the number and we move
Like
on.
if Owen's kid starts getting NIL money to wrestle in high school, I mean, we've got to call a spade a spade.
He's working on his pile driver, so we'll see.
All right. Jason Lloyd going to join us at 9 o'clock on the Fan. We'll see how Jason can wiggle out of this one. Did you see the tweet from Mike Hall Jr. yesterday that got deleted?
I did.
So he wrote trade, and then it deleted. Jerry Jones, do we have both the Jerry Jones deals there? Because I sent him on a goose chase here. Jerry Jones spoke after the game yesterday. They lost to Arizona. So there's a couple parts to Jerry. One, this is earlier where he had said there will be a trade that's consummated on Tuesday.
Because everybody knows it's subject to tomorrow. You can't have a trade done if you haven't gotten it done. Okay? So we'll see what goes tomorrow. I've told you, and I didn't say. I said we were going to have a trade that'll be consummated tomorrow.
So Jerry's nuts, and I like the type of nuts that Jerry Jones is because it's fun. It ain't my favorite team, so it's fun. And people are just putting two and two together. Now, I'll tell you this. I don't know if it's necessarily Mike Hall, because a lot of people drew Jerry Jones talking about there's going to be a trade that's consummated tomorrow, because he said he's got a trade ready, and then he walked it back, goes, well, we got to wait until tomorrow to do it. And I wasn't firm in my beliefs about how it was Mike Hall Jr., because Mike Hall Jr. tweeted trade and then deleted it. Okay, all right. Apparently he did. But even if he did, and again, I got to look at it closely, even if he did, I'm going, Andrew Berry's going to give up on a draft pick that quick? Since when does Andrew Berry give up on a draft pick that quick? When does he do that? I don't know if that's ever happened. I mean, it's just year two. Has that ever happened with Andrew?
Well, giving up, Perry and Winfrey gave himself up, right?
Yeah.
That's probably the quickest one.
But I know Mike Hall Jr.
The authorities helped.
Yeah, I know Mike Hall had his incident, but he is not, he's been rehabbing, and he finally got to play against New England. Like right now, it's been a disappointment. Don't get me wrong. I hate to say it. But it's been a disappointment. But I don't think that Andrew Berry's always kind of doubled down and tripled down on his own draft picks. I don't know if he's just going to give up on this draft pick this quickly. Now, Jerry Jones doesn't care. Jerry Jones is going to go after guys that he thinks are good. But Tone, do you think that? Because I think it speculates on that. And also, is there anybody who's not up for grabs on this Browns football team? Because you got an interesting text yesterday from one of your NFL sources that I didn't. I should have probably just led with that. If you want to go ahead and say that.
Well, before that, I think the first thing like a Mike Hall or any trade, if you put it through the prism of could they get somebody to fill one of their holes? Could they take from a position of strength and then be able to start plugging away at all the holes that we are talking about for this team, which for next year to get them in gear, forget about wins and losses this year, but when we're talking about potential of having 5 new offensive linemen next year, which they're not going to have, but like on paper, you could make the argument that they have to address 5 different spots on the offensive line next year. And if you could turn a defensive lineman into an offensive lineman that would have a shot to maybe start for you, okay, now we're having an honest conversation. I mean, wouldn't you say that?
Yes, I would.
So I don't think anybody would have a problem with that. And is that called buying, or is that called a lateral move or whatever? I don't know how you would qualify it, but the Mike Hall thing doesn't make sense to me because I don't see what value he would have. I mean, he was a second-round pick a year ago. How many games did he play?
Last year, he played 9.
Okay.
He's got hurt like the last game of the season.
Yeah.
So I think he played 9.
I can't see. Has he put out enough film that other teams would be clamoring to? Oh, we can turn him into
not to get any real return back. Like I just don't think that Andrew so
quickly.
He
had a couple splash plays that got us excited, but then he hasn't been available.
I know Rodney really liked him, but again, he hasn't been available.
He played in 8 games last year, 3 starts. He had 1 sack. He has 14 combined tackles.
Okay.
3 for a loss.
216-474-0092. Well, is there any conversation to be had about? Is there anybody like off limits? Like is Denzel Ward off limits? Is Miles off limits? I mean, we've talked Miles to death. Do we really need to talk about Miles? But who's off? Is there anybody that's just flat out off limits?
For me, if I was running the team, no. There would be no, because I was willing to trade Myles Garrett. If I was willing to trade Myles Garrett, by the way, Denzel Ward has another significant cap hit too. But again, if I'm operating under the assumption that next year's not going to be about wins and losses either,
I have to start at the top.
I have to be available. Yeah. Everybody has to be available, and I have to be able to, put up with absorb any kind of cap hits.
Well, isn't dead cap the only limits for this team right now?
Yeah. Yes.
That's the only thing that restricts any movement of players, because it feels like everyone has given up on those players and their ability to impact winning for the Browns. Right
so now. when they just made the trade with Tyson Campbell, that helps out, whatever dead cap there could possibly be there. And, you'd have to look at that because I know Greg's still looking for a contract, so I don't know if there is any dead cap. But, when you have Tyson Campbell, it's like, all right, we get a guy who's on a contract that's a livable contract. Probably we could have, if you trade player for player, that's one thing. So when they were saying over the weekend, and that got reported by Adam Schefter, that, hey, they're going to be buyers and they're looking for players, young players that are quality players for their foot. That's what they mean, because I don't think that they want to just go after and have all that dead cap when you already have a quarterback that's not going to probably be here next year. That's going to count significantly towards your cap. I think that that's what they're thinking more than likely. So the possibility of trades, we've always lined up and got guys thinking about draft picks and getting those and dealing with whatever cap hit may come. I think they're going to have to be more creative with and going, hey, is there a player at all that we can get that is going to be either A, younger, or B, cheaper, or C, both, that helps take away some of that hit that we can actually use? Because you either got the guy or you don't got the guy. 216-474-0092. Eric in Fairview Park, you're next up on the Fan. Hello, Eric.
Hey, I was just calling about Tommy Reese.
Go ahead.
So I'm hardly an NFL insider, but just from everything I've heard on this station, the Browns were very predictable offensively through the lens of being other NFL teams. I'm wondering if Stefanski didn't just make the move so that it wouldn't be so predictable. Maybe Tommy Reese will call the game different than he would, and that way it'll keep the other defense on their toes and everything, as opposed to being so predictable.
I don't think it's as simple as that. I don't think anything is going to be like if you wanted to just switch it up, wouldn't you have different play callers a few times a year?
You could do that, but I mean, they're paying
like
him
the dog pound captain
the
every
money
game.
To, yeah, give him a guitar to smash before every game. No, but I mean, he's on the payroll for that job, so why not have him do it?
Well, no, I think that what this is, and Eric, thank you for the call.
I don't understand why anybody would expect something different in this case because Stefanski has been grooming him in their offense. Last year, it wasn't his offense. This was an important detail.
Well, there will be things that Tommy Rees does different. I mean, again, I don't expect it all to completely change, but there's going to be some changes at some level.
Do people think Tommy Rees has been sitting there kind of learning the ways of the Stefanski offense and has been like bickering behind the scenes, like this guy is calling his own offense all wrong. I would do it totally different. It's not his offense.
It wouldn't surprise me.
It's Kevin's.
Wouldn't surprise me.
And it's not like Tommy Rees has been groomed over 5 years in this offense either. It hasn't. He was in college running totally different stuff.
I know that you said something sarcastic, but I just said it would not surprise me. I think coaches, if things aren't going well and they think that the ship is sinking, yeah, they're definitely going to blame other guys. There's a lot of pro coaches. I mean, good God. I mean, this is college too. Look at the Belichick thing. You had coaches texting people, oh, the rats are leaving the ship, like that type of thing. That was just a few weeks ago for crying out loud.
It's just kind of fighting me like Tommy Rees, this was an amazing opportunity to get a job. Maybe we thought it was only in title, but okay, now I'm going to get some NFL responsibilities. I'm going to learn under a 2-time coach of the year. And somebody who around the NFL, I know in Cleveland, it's not the case anymore. And now people are starting to lose. You know, there's been some sentiment around the league where maybe Kevin's not the offensive genius that he had been labeled by many. So I get this opportunity. It's an amazing opportunity. I'm going to be the understudy. I'm going to learn. And then what? 8 weeks in, I would do this totally different than him. Like with what background does Tommy Rees have to even identify that to begin with?
Well, first off, coaches are very confident people in their own thought, and they can be arrogant at that level. And I'm just putting thoughts into his head. I don't know. I shouldn't say I don't know what Tommy Rees is thinking whatsoever. He may be looking at this going, "Okay, good luck to me." I'm just guessing. But it just would not surprise me if Tommy Rees or if Bob Jackson or Owen Laudeman or Dennis 6969 were the offensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns and he was texting his buddies going, I can't believe we're doing this. I would do this completely different. He is not doing well with Dylan. He is not putting Dylan in the right spot. I've worked with Dylan all offseason. I'm telling you right now, this is not going well because of so-and-so and so-and-so. It would not surprise me whatsoever. It would not. I think we've seen that a million times.
We will see how different it looks on Sunday.
216-474-0092.
They're playing the Jets. They're playing the Jets, even though they're underdogs.
Well, they're playing the Jets. Well, I got into it yesterday on TV because someone's like, Kenny, come on, we got all these winnable games. I go, yeah, you don't think we're circled on their schedules too as winnable games?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, you think Jets fans ain't sit there going, well, we can beat the Browns all of a sudden, 2-6 and da-da-da-da-da. Like, come on. A Raider fan who actually wants to win. Some of these teams probably don't want to win. Some of these fan bases. You know how I am, but I'm sure they're circling us going, the Browns. We're Tennessee fans. We want that number one spot. See if we could trade down and get some more because we got Cam. Well, like that's what they're thinking. 216-474-0092. Coming up at 8 o'clock, John Greco going to join us on the show. What to expect when you change play callers in a season from a player's perspective. And speaking of the Jets, Tone, Aaron Glenn's already playing head games with us.
Uh-oh.
It's coming up in 5 on The Fan.
XTEND, AV.com.
against Toronto's John Schneider and Seattle's Dan Wilson. That one will be named a week from tonight. You can now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
$8:00, John Greco. What are the players thinking? Let's talk about it. Aaron Glenn's playing head games with us already. He will not name the starter. And they kind of took him to task in the media over there. Did you see this yesterday? So Aaron Glenn had his media availability. He did not announce a starter before their last game that they won against Cincinnati. Ended up being Justin Fields. Justin Fields had a very nice football game.
You have the best game of his career.
Yeah, and Aaron Glenn, going into this one, he won't name a starter, and he got kind of taken to task for it.
Doesn't it help the quarterback's confidence when the coach comes out and says, "You're my guy"?
It helps the quarterback confidence when the player and the coach talk and they know who the guy is. Not that I'm telling it to you guys. That has nothing to do with the player's confidence.
So basically, are you kind of saying that, whomever is going to start knows his status as he practices throughout the week this week?
And that'll be between me and the player. I don't understand why you guys keep doing it.
Well, AG, I'm just kind of curious.
It's really getting hilarious, too. You guys keep asking the same question, and I'll keep giving you the same answer.
I am just curious, though, AG, what is the competitive advantage or disadvantage for a team not knowing which of these two guys is playing?
My own reasons.
Okay, obviously, when you're getting stonewalled like that, when you are reporters, like we've been complaining that we've been getting stonewalled by KS. You like how you call him KG or AG the whole time?
Yeah, should I call him KS?
Right. So obviously
That's a good retort, KS.
Everybody has been getting stonewalled by Kevin Stefanski, but at least in this case, like there seems to be some sense of humor with it. It's still not right. Like, it is ridiculous not to just tell people who the quarterback is. Like, to act like there's some big strategic advantage between who is it, Justin Fields and who?
I think that's what they're saying. Justin Fields is the guy you invested in. It was a horrific 3 weeks for him before that game. Then he went out and he played well. I mean, you want to talk about a game that a guy needs, it would be Justin Fields. And I think if you were reporting on Jets goings on, you go, why don't you just say it's Justin Fields? That's the guy.
My own reasons.
Yeah. Hey, Aaron, why won't you just say it's Justin Fields?
My own reasons.
It sounds silly to me.
It is silly. I don't know. Like, do you think the line would move if we knew who the quarterback was? Do you think Vegas would have a different feel?
No.
I mean, we are underdogs.
Yeah.
Let that sink in.
Well, look at the two quarterbacks. Justin Fields is not that great. He's way better than Dylan Gabriel.
Oh, my God.
When in doubt, you go with the quarterbacks. Who's the better quarterback? It's Justin Fields. By a wide margin now, too. Unless the Tommy Rees scenario changes things, maybe Tommy Rees is a wizard, and we don't even know. Maybe he's going to unlock some secret sauce to Dylan Gabriel's offense. I'll tell you this, though. Some people have kind of thrown this out there, and I'll kind of go with you on it. I don't know what Shador Sanders' health situation is. I know he wasn't available to practice yesterday.
He traveled across the country.
Well, you can travel and still not be able to practice.
The air pressure.
Yeah. No, but I mean, most people, when you hear back, you think the last thing they want to do is start getting on an airplane and
is being on an airplane bad for the back?
Just kind of sit there for 4 hours
in a prone position for more than
Yeah, that's the last thing somebody. No, that's just what I hear. NBA guys talk about that, and they're on charters and everything. I don't think he was on a charter.
What are you trying to say?
I'm gonna say anything. I'm just surprised.
What are you trying to say?
I'm surprised because
I'm not saying anything on a talk radio show that I just said something. What are you trying to say?
I was surprised that he traveled when he was dealing with the back, and it seems like the back is still giving him issues.
What are you trying to say?
That I'm surprised.
Do you think he's not having issues?
I have no reason not to believe he has issues if he said he had issues.
Well, you're starting to sound like Aaron Glenn here.
But he also said that he was going to stay in Cleveland and be big ready. But then he had his surprise, which is cool. I thought it was cool that he surprised.
Well, sometimes the old man needs you.
Oh, he needs more. He needs him to play.
Your father's getting his ass kicked so damn bad.
His dad needs Travis Hunter to play. I think he needs Shador Sanders to play because they are starting to revolt. They are starting that in Boulder.
Hey, dead serious. This is a total non sequitur, and I'm sorry to bring this up. If I'm Colorado, I'll do it one more year with Deion. I'm throwing everything at Lenore Sellers.
Oh,
I'm throwing everything. The young man, stay in college. He is 6'4", 6'3". The guy's like 230. Mm-hmm. Just come on over here.
Specimen.
Come on over here. We'll get you. We'll get into the portal. Let's get you some wide receivers. Let's get working on. I'm telling you right now. That's a bad situation right now down there at South Carolina. I'd throw everything I could at Lenore Sellers. Tell all the Shador fans watching us on YouTube. Get it back to the people in Colorado. Go after Lenore Sellers.
Can Pat Shurmur turn everything around for him? Make him a top 5 pick.
He would also have his own reasons. 216-474-0092. No, I think that Lenore Sellers can be a top pick. It's just going to be a hard sell on people because they have a terrible offensive line. He keeps getting banged up. They're losing like crazy. I think, didn't they just fire their OC, Mike Shula, if I'm not mistaken? I want to say South Carolina just fired their OC. Ooh. They ain't going to a bowl game either. So I'm going to be looking at a team that's 4-8, and if he comes out in the draft, I'm going to try to tell people, I'm going to try to get them going on Lenore Sellers. I'm going to get cussed out on the phones. And I like him, but when you come from a bad situation there and people only look at wins, losses, and things like that, that's going to be tough. It's the same thing. Get ready about an argument for another quarterback because I'm telling you, he's going to be healed, and them scouts are going to like him, and it's going to be a knockdown drag-out on these airways, especially because of where he's from. Let's go back to the phones. Jason in West by God, Palm Beach, Florida. You're next up on the Fan. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, y'all boys. How y'all doing?
We're doing well, Jason. Go right on ahead.
Man, I feel bad for what y'all got to go through every year from, the draft process to the way it gets on the field.
I used to work at a stone plant that made the stone that goes on the sides of houses. I used to do hard physical labor. You don't need to feel bad for me. This is nice.
Hey, one thing, I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan. I just started watching y'all in, April, I think, after the draft.
You're a Ravens fan?
Yeah, I'm a Ravens fan, man. I went to school in Lamar Jackson.
Okay. So why did you start watching us?
Because I'm a Shador fan. Okay. I follow great quarterbacks.
Okay.
So I got a question.
Please.
Did y'all see how Ravens drafted Lamar, changed their whole philosophy on offense, and basically gave him the keys from somebody that they didn't think was going to be a good passer, should have went to receiver, now is one of the top quarterbacks? What did y'all do with drafting Dylan Gabriel and not following no things that he did in his college career?
Jason,
no RPOs, no quick game.
I didn't draft him.
Nothing.
I didn't draft him. I don't know if he's capable of doing it. I was just as surprised probably as you were that they drafted him the night they drafted him.
Who had him? Who had him as even a top quarterback in this draft?
I wish I could tell you. I don't know. I have no idea. I definitely think he was overdrafted. I know that Albert Breers came on. And Jason, thank you very much for the call. Dylan Gabriel, listen, Albert Breers came on and said, or it wasn't even just Albert Breer, a couple other ones hey, there were some teams that were thinking about taking him even in the 4th round. Okay, it does make it look like you just beat everybody to the punch, but when he goes out there and he looks like he can't fill the bill and do it, that's fine. My point is, I'm making and again, I'm grasping at straws here. I'm grasping at anything. If you have 4 quarterbacks in a quarterback quote-unquote competition, okay, air quotes, if you have 4 QBs in a quote-unquote competition, the head coach can't keep an eye on all of them. So I imagine Tommy Rees was working with the younger quarterbacks, working with Dylan Gabriel, working with Shador Sanders. You're going to see Shador at some point here, regardless, unless his back is that locked up and he goes on IR for crying out loud, which would be horrific for the year. But you're going to see Shador at some point this season. So if you see Shador, wouldn't it go to Stan? Okay, you're the one who has the experience. What I'm doing is not working. Maybe I should hand the reins over to them. Again, it does seem desperate, but everything you've done this year has been nonsensical. I mean, let's just go and say it. We've tried to rationalize it as best we can. You never did. I did. I tried to rationalize it. And because I just wanted things to work out and it wasn't going to work out. A 4 quarterback competition going in camp and running 2 fields and doing all this stuff and having Shador have to throw to ball boys before practice and after practice and things like that because you don't have enough reps, that's bad. Trading away your 2 veterans before it's even halfway through the season, that's not good. And now you have a guy like Dillon Gabriel who looks completely in over his head. And the only argument that I can make for him, and it's the same thing Lance Reisland said to me on Friday, just out and about, it's like, I just want to see what he does responding to really bad play. Let's see how he responds to playing really badly. Now you have to respond to playing really badly, and you're going to have an offensive coordinator change. So you're going to have something different that you're thrown into. So I just think that you have a younger guy.
Wouldn't it have been nice to see how he would respond to good play?
Maybe. You have a younger guy working with younger players. You're the one with the experience. Okay, you know what makes them comfortable. Because a lot of this is going to come down to the quarterback's comfort level. How comfortable can I make Shador, and how fast can I do it? Can I get Dillon more comfortable within this offense, running things that he knows? Do we have what it takes to run things that he knows at any sort of a level? Or is this just left out there? And again, we get to the whole point of, is he just trying to prove a point? Is Kevin just trying to do that? Which, again, if you're trying to prove a point, it ain't going to work with me because I ain't blaming one side or the other. It's on all of you. It's on all of you. It's on Andrew. It's on Kevin. It's on Paul. It's on the Browns. It's on all of them. No matter what. I get people on both sides. It's not a one-sided issue. We've done that too much. We have sat there and went from one person to another and tried to place blame on those people. I mean, can't we see it?
But that makes people feel better because if they think it's one person, they think if that one person, everything's good.
It doesn't work like that.
I think there's 7 things they could change right now with the offense, and it wouldn't improve one iota.
Guys, blaming one guy in particular is why we're in this situation to begin with, because we just blamed one guy. And yeah, there was plenty to blame with him at that time, but it wasn't just him, for crying out loud. So now we're in this situation because when you go from one person to one person wanting to fix blame on one guy, all you're doing is covering for the rest of the ineptitude that's gone on, because you never during that time have ever been able to establish the culture, able to establish a system. You've put things on the side of walls. They mean nothing. They mean absolutely nothing. The tough, smart, accountable stuff, none of that means anything to anybody. What does that mean? You've gone from trying to put something together with guys who actually would hold each other accountable to some level, and now it's just become a phrase that people make fun of you for. So if we go into this game on Sunday and Dillon Gabriel looks massively different, fine. I guess we can sit there and do the blame game and just blame Kevin. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, some of this is still going to stink because fooling the Jets don't take much. So if he goes out there and he has a decent game and they beat the Jets, I'm sorry. I'll be happy that they beat the Jets because it's a victory Monday and we don't get many of them. But I'm going to tell you right now, by Tuesday, I'm going to be really questioning some things again. I'm not just going to sit there and say that everything's all fixed and everything's going to be all fine. If they beat the New York Jets on Sunday at MetLife Stadium, which might as well be a home game. I mean, you might as well be playing in an empty Kmart. That stadium has no feel, no home field advantage, nothing. I don't want to hear about it. So if you play the Jets, I'm still going to think the same thing. You beat the Baltimore Ravens at home with Dillon Gabriel and Tommy Rees calling plays.
All right.
Then we'll talk. Then we'll have ourselves a conversation. A team that's getting up off the mat like The Undertaker, yeah, let's have that conversation. If you beat the Jets, no. It ain't all just Kevin's fault, and I ain't going to do it. It'll make everybody feel better if it's just Kevin's fault, because you can just get another head coach. Ain't going to be that way. Not at all. Coming up at 8 o'clock, John Greco going to join us on the show. You've been champing at the bit to get to this story. Coming up at 7:45. Folks, there is a major job with major names that are being discussed right here in Northeast Ohio. And I am not talking about the Cleveland Browns. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the absolutely free Odyssey app. You are not going to want to miss it. Window Nation at windownation.com. It is
Oh, we could go 82-0. No one would care.
He's a piece of crap. The kid, he sucks. He's sucked his whole career.
I got rumors about him. He couldn't please his wife, so now he's divorced.
Put a damn winning team on the field.
Now the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima give their thoughts on what you might have missed about last night.
Well, we had a Monday Night Football game that you could have watched last night, unless you were like me and you subscribed to YouTube TV. The Arizona Cardinals pulling out a victory over the Dallas Cowboys. During the game on the Manning Cast, we had Bucs quarterback and former Brown slinger Baker Mayfield talking about what has been dubbed by one of us as the play of the year, and him referencing his past during the interview.
You went from, all right, avoid this sack to, I might get the first down.
Right about here. He was laying it down. Did a good job on the twist game up front. Had a couple guys running free. Somehow snuck out of that one.
What day of the week do you work on, like, breaking tackles and the spin moves? And
I tried one time in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It didn't go too well. Wound up getting arrested. But I've improved since then. So just finding time whenever I can.
Audio courtesy of ESPN. Good, he can have a laugh about it now.
Have a couple of drinks. See a couple of things. It's okay.
It's amazing how he's freer. He's able to crack jokes about some of the, at the time, worst moments of his life. And I feel like that's somebody who, what's their record right now? They've 6-2. Yeah. Like they can do those things. He can say all those things.
Success is the difference between being a loser and just being colorful. And
Put
he's
that
colorful
on the wall,
right now.
Maria.
What?
Success is the difference between being a loser and being
colorful. Yep. If the Browns were 6-2, well, they wouldn't be doing all these things. But some of the other things that just annoy us, it would all be fun.
Could our starting quarterback, if they were 6-2 on the year, could he get away with shaving his facial hair during a game?
Yeah.
You did it 7 times.
Yeah. You can do it as many times as he wants. Closer shaves. Like you do anything you want with your facial hair.
Eventually you run out of facial hair.
Yeah, I mean, but you get what I'm saying. Well, you go down, like, it starts at a 3.
Oh, I know how to shave a face. I know it hasn't looked like that in recent.
No, your beard looks trimmed. I've never said your beard is unkempt.
Oh, it's not trimmed.
It looks fine.
It's full of birds.
It looks like a full. Oh, yeah, I do have a nest in there, but it looks like a nice nest.
We had some award nominations yesterday in the world of baseball. We had Jose Ramirez for the 4th time in his career being a top 3 finalist for the AL MVP alongside Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh. We also had for the 2nd consecutive year Stephen Vogt up for AL Manager of the Year. Now, Vogt was interviewed on MLB Network yesterday talking about the adversity the club overcame this year.
With all the things that got thrown at our guys, with everything we went through, they showed up ready to win, ready to work every single day, and I couldn't be more proud of them.
Now, I'd like to say Vogt might win back-to-back Managers of the Year, but he's going up against the 2 guys that were in the ALCS, Seattle and Toronto this year.
So he's not going to win that. Let me ask you this, though. Do you think Cal Raleigh has a chance to win it over Aaron Judge?
And the voting was done.
It was before the postseason.
Before the postseason.
Never mind.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Cal Raleigh was terrific. Had a terrific year.
He was, but
there definitely was something to Seattle roaring back to win the division, and Raleigh being a big part of that. I think they're going to take that over Judge, who they've voted in multiple times already.
It's their fatigue. Yeah, Judge fatigue.
I mean, the Judge fatigue. I mean, there's Ohtani. I don't think there's Ohtani fatigue, but there's definitely we're at that point.
So
I think.
I
think Ohtani has no chance to win the AL MVP.
Not this year.
Go off the top of your heads. Does Aaron Judge deserve to be the AL MVP this year? Because Jose is not going to win it. So
well, deserves not the thing, because he deserves it. So does Cal Raleigh. So does Jose. They all deserve.
Well, who would you pick as the MVP then?
Cal Raleigh.
Yeah, I'd probably go Cal.
I'd say Raleigh too.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
I have to say I know, because they've just done it for so long. It is kind of funny to me that there still are AL versus NL awards.
Yeah, I bet
like
that
this.
starts to go away pretty soon.
No, I don't know if it does, just because of the tradition.
It's more.
But it's just a 15-team award.
Yeah, but they also had the tradition of only playing AL teams forever, and then they went to interleague. But now they've went to you play everybody every year.
Yeah, the leagues
and
are
that's
done.
Only 2 years
These aren't
old.
leagues anymore; they're conferences.
Yes,
it's not an American and National League, kind of name only. And it is funny to me, we don't do an Eastern Conference MVP,
correct?
And we don't do an AFC MVP, right? We might do monthly awards.
No, but I think. No, we don't. Never mind.
Yeah, we do monthly awards to kind of track that stuff, but
we do weeklies.
At the
Grant Delpit was Special Teams Player of the Week.
Yeah, but at the end of the year, they don't do that AFC versus NFC. I guess I don't know that we really need to do it anymore in baseball.
All right, let's get to the story that you guys were teasing earlier in the show. This is a national search upcoming for St. Ignatius football after their coach Ryan Franzinger resigned after 3 seasons with Ignatius going 5-29 in those 3 seasons.
You didn't need to say the record. Come on.
I need to say it for one particular listener. But either way,
who's that listener? Names.
Not going to name names.
Name names.
Not naming names. What I'm going to name is Ignatius's potential for this upcoming future. They need to nail this. They need to get back into the national spotlight if they're them.
Well,
you have the odds in front of you, I'm sure. Have they changed?
They say all the time. I had just 2 different lists that had come out towards the back third of the season, but you wanted to give the current coach some respect. They were able to make the playoffs. Actually played
almost beat Perry's.
Yeah, it was an amazing game. So it doesn't go out on a win, but still they showed that the effort was there all year. You never want to be the guy to replace the guy. They always say, well, now it's opened up.
Yeah, now you're the guy that replaces the guy that replaces the guy.
Now it's opened up, and I mean there are some names. I've been getting texts because Ignatius has some highfalutin fundraisers that this is the fun stage. You can throw out any name you want if you can back it up with opportunity, situation. Could you lure somebody here? I've heard of some big coaches in Cincinnati. I've heard some big coaches that hail from the Youngstown area.
Oh, yes, you have.
So
that'd be great.
That'd be
great.
I've been getting these, and I've tried to. Come on, we can eliminate some of these. No, I've been told it's all in play. So this is the fun stage of a national coaching.
There's one name on here. There's one name on here. I'd be absolutely stunned. If he were offered the job and he accepted it, I'd be absolutely stunned.
You want to share that name?
No, hell no. I'm not going to share that name.
Give initials.
So we have a bunch of names here that Lima has posted on his social media of odds as the next St. Ignatius head coach. Dave Ragone is on here at 50-1. Bo Pelini's on here at 50-1. Elvis Gerbach 100-1. Mitch Hewitt 30-1. Marty Gibbons 12-1. Remember, there's Mike Gibbons and there's Marty Gibbons, both very successful.
Now, could some of this be to stir up controversy while certain coaches are still in the playoffs?
Yes.
Try to create a distraction.
Yes.
Because now, do these coaches have to answer for it and say, I am just fine where I am, thank you very much, I'm late Catholic.
You talk to the parents of the 6th grader and you go, I don't know, is he really going to be there or what?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, you want your kid to go to so-and-so? Is he really going to be at that place or not? 6th grade parents think that we don't try to do these things here in Ohio? Well, you would just be living under a rock if you didn't know that. We play for keeps in this state.
Okay, what do you think the NIL opening up could
I don't know,
play
man.
a factor
You keep
here?
bringing up the NIL stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know who gets NIL in high school football. I don't want to think about it. It's weird to me. No, I don't want it. You can do it. That's fine. I don't think it's made anything horrible in high school football. I think Zach would probably disagree, but Zach. It's weird to me, and I don't want to discuss that part.
Real quick, finally, we have here from the Hoop Collective yesterday, Tim Bontemps, friend of the show, who gave his opinion on 2 point guards in the NBA.
I would just say flat out, Darius Garland at this point, I'd rather have Darius Garland than Ja Morant. For Darius Garland is not a perfect player by any means, but Darius Garland's an offensive engine by himself. He's a way better shooter. Ja is, again, in a league where everybody's relying on shooting now. He doesn't really shoot it. He doesn't guard. He's not really available, and he's not as athletic as he was a couple years ago.
Well, I actually agree with Tim Bontemps, and I'll tell you why. Because one of the last things he said, he makes himself available. Ja Morant's a goof. So you can be as good a player as you want to be, but if you're not available to my organization, then I have no use for you. Darius will be back from injury, and he will be available. And he's
not going to cause headaches.
He's not as good as Ja Morant, obviously, but no, he's not going to cause headaches.
That's it for about last night.
If we're going to do all this with NIL, and we're going to throw the book at Ironton, we're going to do that because they're recruiting
over a series of years. Sustained violations
but if we're
going to
throw the book at Ironton, but we're also going to have NIL.
Yeah, it's a weird time. You don't see any college programs getting popped for recruiting violations now, really. I mean, Michigan had an element of that, but they also flaunted a lot of that stuff right in front of the NCAA.
When it comes to pressured jobs in Ohio, where does St. Ignatius rank? Think about it. I think there's more pressure at St. Ignatius than any MAC school. Yes?
Depends, though, because do do they still want to be like? It's one thing to say, yeah, we are taking this seriously, but the thought is over the last however many years that St. Ed's has taken football way more seriously than St. Ignatius.
Okay, well that's part of it. Power rank time. I'm sorry, power rank time. Power rank time. Pressure jobs. Ready? Number 1, Browns. Number 2, Ohio State. Even though after they win, doesn't that fall in pressure?
Ooh, yeah.
Number 3,
maybe just for one game, maybe just for the Michigan game.
Number 3, Massillon. Then St. Ignatius. Then maybe the Bengals, but there's probably other high school programs I would put in there. Here you go. That's power ranking of the pressure jobs in Ohio. Coming up at 9 o'clock, Jason Lloyd going to join us on the show. Was this Kevin's decision? Who ordered the code red? We'll find out with Jason coming up at 9. Up next, John Greco. What to expect when you change play callers in season? From a player's perspective. That's in 5 on The Fan.
All right, the real...
You can always listen on the Odyssey app. Headline Sports News every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski has made his first big change after the bye week.
On play calling, I'm going to have Tommy call the plays on offense.
What change will be next? When breaking Browns news happens, it happens here first. This is the radio home of the Cleveland Browns. 92.3 The Fan.
The Neutral Zone with Rat Boy and the Hog coming up at 8:45. Also, Jason Lloyd joins us at 9. Let's go to the fan hotline and welcome in John Greco, former Browns guard, current Browns analyst. He joins us right now on the hotline. Hello, John.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
What have you ever had to deal with a change in play callers or something like that in season?
Oh, God, yeah. Are you kidding me?
All right, what's it like for the guys on the team?
In the room, in our room, it was, first of all, it's never the result of a good thing, as we all know. So it's not like, hey, everything's, roses and smelling good. Let's all of a sudden change play callers. There's a reason why they're doing it. It's desperation. It's something that's going haywire. It's an attempt to, right the ship and turn things around. And that's where they're at. And, we don't know whose decision that was. I was a little surprised, but obviously something needed done. But yeah, when you're in those rooms and that happens, you're just kind of like, oh God, the obvious is becoming a reality, and you have kind of a heightened sense of awareness, like, okay, this is the next attempt at before people start getting fired, or a bigger changes happen. So, like I said, a little bit of a desperation move, but look, you have a young guy that has had some success in college, and he's in the Browns staff now, and Tommy Rees, and it's a great opportunity for him, especially looking at some of the defenses that the Browns are going to face down the stretch here. There's opportunity, so it's a great opportunity for him and his professional future. But as a players, I don't know how much things can change. It's not like he has this secret, binder full of magical plays. I mean, it's going to be a lot of the same concepts, but we'll just see what he does and see if he brings kind of a different mix and style to how he calls the plays.
You use the word desperate. Does it have a negative effect on a locker room?
I don't think so, because those guys, no matter who's calling the plays, those guys still have to show up, buckle the chin straps, and run routes and block and catch and tackle. Not tackle, obviously, but put the ball in the right spot, execute. So, no, I don't think so. It kind of, I hinted on it. It's more of like, okay, here's where we're at. We're at the bye. They're changing play callers. The season's gotten away from us. It's not, we haven't had the results that we had all hoped. And, everybody can point fingers all over the place, and the season's been such a mess with the quarterback situation. And, we've talked about the passing game, and that's where we're at. So as players, I think it's just like, all right, the time is now. We have to show some sign of life and improve. And this is just the next, I don't want to say opportunity. This is just the next step before things get really dire and people start losing their jobs.
All right, so what really changes, though, when there is a change in play caller? How does it mechanically work inside the building? Because last year was a little different. It was the Ken Dorsey offense. This year it's back to the Stefanski offense, who I would assume he was bringing along Tommy Rees under the, let's say, tenets of his philosophy. So should we expect anything different?
That's a great point, and I guess I'd never really thought of it like that, but you're right. It makes a lot of sense that Kevin Stefanski is kind of grooming Tommy Rees to think and act like him and call plays like him. And what is that offense? It's, running the ball effectively and play action. Well, we just haven't seen that, and this team just hasn't executed that style. So is Tommy Rees all of a sudden going to pivot from that and just be spread and throwing, all these vertical passing, route trees together? I don't know. It's kind of hard to do that over the bye week and just completely reinvent the playbook. But what that means is, you might see Tommy Rees's spin just within the practices and say, oh, hey, this is a new concept or a route combination. But, from an O-line perspective, it's still the same protections. It's not going to look any different. Those guys might get excited because, oh, hey, it looks like this is going to be a bigger run emphasis, and we're going to try to get, number 10 going. Or, we're going to take more shots, and that could be the hidden message in the script and in the game plan. But beyond that, like I said, I don't know how it's going to be that much different from what we're currently seeing. It just might be, breaking tendencies. If they're more run heavy on first down, they might throw the ball on first down and try to open it up. But I'm going back to what I said earlier. I think this is a great opportunity for Tommy Rees. He's going to have to make a change because if you continue to just show the same things and call the same stuff, it's still not going to work. So he's got to do something, and we'll see what that means. If it's different route combinations, if it's just different running, if they go back to more gap scheme runs, or if they're trying to, attack the perimeter more, time will tell.
John Greco joining us here on the hotline. So does this mean we're any closer to Shador Sanders? Because I'm just trying to throw some things out there. So you help me. Have you ever had a 4-quarterback competition in camp at all when you were playing?
No, okay. No. I've damn sure played for 4 different quarterbacks in a season.
Well,
go ahead.
I've certainly cheered for 4 different quarterbacks in a season before. John, so they had 4 different quarterbacks at camp, and I'm like, well, he's the head coach, he's the play caller, he's got to get ready for a season, so he's probably working primarily with Joe and with Kenny. Now those guys are gone. You have a younger guy there. Maybe he wasn't really working with him as much as Tommy Rees was, talking about Dillon Gabriel. So he's going to get a different set of eyes on him, maybe get a guy in there who might know he's a little bit more comfortable. And then I'd have to assume, or I'm trying to assume, the same with Shador Sanders. Should I assume as much, or is that just kind of reading too much into it?
I think that's a safe assumption. And, now that this is kind of the second part of the season and we can draw a line in the sand here, and now we're talking about the Tommy Rees offense. Mm-hmm. And does it feature more, getting the quarterback on the run and trying to I don't want to say make it easier for them because, my God, it seemed like everything was check down city. So I don't know what that means for these young quarterbacks. But, best believe in those offensive meeting rooms, Tommy Rees is behind the scenes looking at the iPads, the film, the script, talking with the 2 younger quarterbacks. And now that he's running the show, that he has kind of less time to do that because it's more of a bigger picture thing for him. And maybe Kevin Stefanski will have more time to do that now. I don't know what his role is going to be in the offensive room now. Obviously he's going to be another set of eyes, and he'll have his input and put in his 2 cents. But maybe he'll be able to just kind of get in the weeds more with Shador, with Dillon Gabriel, and we'll see what that looks like. But, yeah, I think it's a safe assumption, and it seems like we're getting a little bit closer to seeing Shador Sanders in the game. But, if something happens and this Tommy Rees offense looks different, I mean, and they're able to score more points, which I don't know how it's magically going to happen, but if that's the case and they do, and like I said, you have the Jets, you have the Raiders, you have Cincinnati's terrible defense, so there are chances to where that they could at least look better than what we've seen. So if that happens, that's going to look even worse for Kevin Stefanski. But I don't know. Getting back to the 2 young quarterbacks, I think in those meeting rooms, these guys will have a chance to put them both together and say, hey, look, here's the new style. Here's whatever new concepts, new plays we're going to be dialing up, queuing up, and we'll see.
John Greco with us right now on the hotline. So I'm thinking about the trade deadline, and, Wyatt Teller kind of brought it up yesterday about how they're not really always thinking about that, but it's in the back of their minds. What was it like as a player around this time, and what do you think the Browns might do?
Yeah, I don't know if I was ever in a situation or a conversation to be a piece that would be moved, but it seems like this is always a popular week for fans and for players a little bit less, but sometimes, when you're being pulled out of a situation and going to a playoff team, that's an opportunity for a veteran. And, even though they might not want to uproot their lives and leave their families and leave their teammates in the locker room if they're used to being there, like a guy, like you said, Wyatt Teller, that's made Pro Bowls here and been a big part of a lot of the Browns' success since he's been in town. That's tough. But, if you uproot a player like that and all of a sudden he's in Buffalo, he's in Detroit, he's in Kansas City, on the surface and for a while it might be emotional. He might say, hey, look, I'm sad to leave those guys, but, he's getting another opportunity to try to compete for a Super Bowl. So I don't know if your players sure as hell aren't hoping that's going to happen, but it's not always a bad thing. But yeah, it's difficult this time of year, especially when you see teammates' names being thrown around. I'm old enough to remember when the Joe Thomas to Denver conversation was on fire, and he was like, "Look, as much as I do." And a lot of the players, and a lot of times you hear the noise, outside, and it becomes just kind of a rumor mill. And in the building, the players have to still go to work, and they have to act like it's not going to happen, and they're going to be, on the roster today at 4:01 and practicing tomorrow. So it's a difficult time of year, but it's not always a bad thing. You hate to see players leave, but a lot of times it's for the better for them professionally and personally, and it gives them an opportunity to maybe compete for a deep run in the playoffs and potentially a Super Bowl.
Well, what about Joe Patonio there? When you like Lima's person, like I heard your guards are up for grabs. Like, well, Joel's up for grabs possibly.
Yeah,
is it the same for him?
That would be a tough pill to swallow. A guy that's played here his entire career, and look, that it would be like what I just said about Joe Thomas in Denver. I'm sure there's a lot of playoff teams that could use Joel's help and use Wyatt's help. I mean, those guys are terrific, and these conversations are always going to come about during trade deadlines. And it sucks to have them, but it's the reality. That's the business. And we have time to be emotional because we're on the outside looking in. And Joel, I'm sure it would be very, very difficult if he were to be moved, for him and for the locker room and for the city and the fans and the organization. But at the end of the day, it's a business, and that's the brass and the front office are going to make moves that they think is going to make the team better in the long run in the future. And if it means that, they're going to do it, regardless of what we all think. And that's the unfortunate part of being a fan and being a player. But as a player, if that happens, I get back to the points I was just making. It is what it is, and you're packing up, you're kissing your wife and your kids goodbye, and you're going, and it's on to a different opportunity, a different team. But that would be very difficult.
What advantage, if anything, does Aaron Glenn get by not telling the media who his starter is going to be on Sunday?
I never understood that. I don't know if it's an advantage. It just. The defense has to prepare a little bit differently, I guess you can say. But I just think that coaches do that so they don't have to answer questions from the media. It's just, hey, listen, we don't know. We'll let you know. We'll let you know. They haven't. They know who's starting a quarterback. But I think it's just kind of a thing to where they're kicking the can down the road and they're trying to delay any answering questions and reasoning. Well, why this and that? So I think it's more of a strategy that they're just behind the scenes. Like, look, we know we have a plan in place. Maybe it creates a competitive advantage. The defense can't, key in on a certain player. But I think it's all about let's just keep everything tight and keep it under wraps, and we'll disclose that information when we have to and go play the game.
What was the weirdest thing that was given out during trick or treat in your neighborhood?
I don't know if it's there was no apples or anything.
Let me ask you this.
That. Yeah.
Is ramen a weird thing to be given out during trick or treat?
Yeah, it's the most bizarre thing I've ever heard. Other than giving out a toothbrush, that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, my son got a pack of ramen at one of the houses he went to, and I didn't notice it until yesterday.
That just seems like they ran out of candy and they were like, okay, what's the next best thing that we can just throw in this kid's bag to make it look like we're trying? And he got ramen.
The great John Greco on the fan hotline. John, thank you very much for the time. God bless.
Guys, thank you.
John Greco on the fan hotline. All right. Coming up next, can I ask you about the ramen thing? Because some people told me it was a little bit more normal than I thought it would be, and what John thought it would be. Jason Lloyd, The Athletic, 9 o'clock, and America has a new power ranking on the sports we love the most. Tone, time for the baseball guys to do a champion's pose on the fan.
Anthony Lima, 4.
tri-c.edu/PST.
There's a broken down vehicle on the left shoulder, 71 north at the Turnpike. Slowdowns Route 8 north from the Turnpike to 271 and 480 east from 252 to 237. This is Joe Checkeye for 92.3 The Fan.
Catch Overtime on The Fan to hear the first college football playoff rankings of the season. Tuesday night, Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Rat Boy and the Hog coming up at 8:45, where the No Fun League strikes again. Yeah, someone gave out ramen noodles. Packs of them. And someone goes, no, that's like a millennial thing, Kenny. People are handing out
My
potatoes.
boy's got 2 packs apiece.
2 packs.
Nissan, or whatever, however you pronounce it.
Nissan? I think they're Nissan.
I don't think it's Nissan. I think that's a truck.
No, that's a car. The flavor was chicken.
Chicken is what we got as well.
They make so many kinds now. Like my son, he loves them, and it's like, well, I'm like, you can have 1, you can't have 2. Like, buddy, your salt.
They
Come
each
on.
got
it's coming from me too.
2 packs of noodles, and they got about $5 a piece as well.
Oh, nice. That's nice.
$5.
Individual.
What was the thing about the potato being handed out? Some people were getting a potato and taking a picture, like, what's this? And I don't know if it's got the same as like the 6-7 stuff, and we don't even know. But yeah, I took a picture. I go, what the hell is this? Because I went to sneak in some candy yesterday, and both bowls were sitting on top of the fridge. And I looked up, and at first I just didn't even think twice about it. And then I looked, I go, what the hell is this? I go, someone is handing out ramen noodles. Liz goes, oh yeah, someone's handing them out. I go, what? Did your daughter get anything weird?
Funyuns. And we wondered if that was a gag or what.
Why is Funyuns a gag? Funyuns are good.
I don't know. My whole life, the stereotype with Funyuns is that it's not for kids.
It's for people who imbibe and other things.
I think the last time I had Funyuns, I was a kid.
I never really had. I mean, I tasted it, but
Funyuns became a very much a gag after Half Baked.
My buddy just texted me. He lives on the other side of town. He said somebody in our development was giving out potatoes and garlic. Garlic.
So it's all a joke?
I don't know.
That's what that would be, right?
I have no idea. I have zero clue.
Love to know what they were giving out on Murray Hill.
Oh, you know what they were giving out Murray Hill.
What were they giving out?
Manicotti.
Little Cavatel. Hold out your hand. I got a scoop for each of you. Careful on your palms. It's still warm, bubby. Yeah, why not? Why not? A little bit of Italian peppers and spice.
It'd be funny if they were grinding it out. Like the fresh pasta right there for you.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
How many Benny Romance costumes?
Give it to that.
Ooh, that would be... I should have thought of that. Maybe that's next year. If I can't do the Shockmaster.
Oh, I think I already have my idea. If you think I wore makeup on Friday, I think... Ooh, I might have to get up like TV morning news early and like get my makeup done if I'm going to do that next year.
You don't even want to know what after we've been watching the documentary or the drama
of
John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
What my wife, some questions she was asking about you and the painting of the face and the clown and your. Let's face it, your obsession with serial killers. I mean, she's starting to ask.
Obsessed with serial killers.
She's starting to ask some questions.
I'm fascinated by serial killers. There's a difference. You know, Dr. Helen Morrison has made it her entire career. Nobody questions her just because she's got DR in front of her name. So if I get somebody to call me DR in front of my name, then I can ask anything about serial killers that I want to. Is that it? Okay. Just making sure everybody knows. So if there's some school out there that wants to give me an honorary doctorate, please, because then all answers on serial killers now. So I know everything there is to know about Ed Gein. Mm-hmm. So I know everything there is to know about Jeffrey Dahmer or Ted Bundy or John Wayne Gacy. Does that make me such a strange individual, Tone?
Remember, Ed Gein spawned, disciples that ended up doing some very bad things of their own.
The real reason, or the real Ed Gein was not that big of a thing. I mean, he's
not
still,
that big of a deal or a thing.
It was like, it was a.
What's the big deal?
Putting them in your crawl space.
Come on. Hey, I like to hang out in the cemetery with my shovel.
You and I, hold on. Let me tell you this.
I'm a seamstress in my free time.
You and I both know. Hold on. Let me walk that back for just a second. turning people into lampshades, that's a pretty big deal. I meant he's not as prolific.
Right.
He's not as prolific.
A little exaggerated. Is
John Gacy, that's pretty prolific. Okay? Ted Bundy, not that we, Richard Ramirez, pretty prolific. This was a hermit in so many ways who kept a shrine to his mother. I keep my mother in a box in my office.
Yeah.
A lot of things lining up.
What's the big deal?
Stones and glass houses. Who am I to throw?
Ken likes to.
Apparently, I'm the bad boy.
Ken likes to put on clown makeup and entertain.
It was an easy thing. I found it at Mark's.
It was great.
I was like, I'm a radio show host. Everybody's going to sing. Hey, Ken's going as a radio show host. What's the big deal? I thought it'd be fun. It cost me $4 to put on the makeup and the wig.
On a budget.
My destiny called me to dress like a clown for such occasion. You made me do this, you bitch! Don't play that. That was from a movie. I was in a movie. Don't play that.
And I'm sure we'll see it in about 20 years on Netflix.
My wife's texting me now. God knows what.
We're getting all sorts of ramen noodle. This was more common than you think.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people who did it. I told you. It's like, all right, that's cool. Maybe it's an our age thing. I don't know. I like ramen noodles. They got chili. They got the Mexican style. They got all types of styles. 21647. Fine. Well, I wanted to do the baseball rating.
I know,
thing.
but people ain't getting on
It's
this.
done.
Beef in a
oh gosh, Jimmy, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, I've been giving out ramen noodles for like 15 years now.
Are you serious?
With you. Oh,
Congratulations on all your success.
But yeah, it was real successful. It actually has been. You know what? It all started about 15 years ago. I ran out of candy. I had a couple cases of ramen noodles, and guess what? My wife went inside, grabbed them, we started handing them out, and it was a big hit. So the next year, we did candy and ramen noodles and gave kids a choice, and more ramen noodles were taken than candy. It was just amazing. So now, hold on a second. I'll just tell you the whole story.
Go ahead.
So the last 10 years, I've been giving out a full-size candy bar and a package of ramen noodles to every kid. So I get 96 ramen noodles, I get 96 candy bars.
Yeah, but what's the
and
appetizer?
The kids are happy with it, and the family's happy with it. Okay. In the area I live in, those ramen noodles are dinner for some kids.
So, that is a nice thing, Jimmy. Thank you very much for the call. If you were thinking because it's like, I'll take what, I'm not going to take ramen over Reese's or Snickers or Kit Kat or a Crunch Bar or a Mr. Good Bar. Mr. Good Bar, man, that's gold. But I will take ramen over Milk Duds. Yes. Or Whoppers.
Yes.
Or what are they called?
What about the
wafers?
What about the cowtails?
Cowtails. No. Yeah, I'm fine.
You need to reevaluate your priorities.
What? You like them things?
Milk Duds are pretty high up there.
Oh, no. Mike and Ike and all that stuff, I ain't down with it. No.
Almond Joy?
No.
You're wrong.
No Almond Joy. Is that the one? Now, that's got almonds, and the other one's...
Mounds.
And that's coconut. I damn sure ain't no mounds. That ain't going to happen, no. Fine. Do you want to get into the baseball, please?
Yeah, because I saw something.
For the love of God.
That I found pretty interesting. Initial World Series Game 7 ratings on Fox indicate best Game 7. It beat Game 7 of the NBA Finals this year by over 50%. 50.
I'm sorry. Can I say something? I just checked my phone. Another radio show host in this city, I'm not going to name names, has just texted me and goes, someone in my neighborhood gave away whistles, like referee whistles. The whole street was just every kid blowing them. What an a-hole that guy was.
I kind of like that. You should do that for our bar crawls down in West 6, and boy, do people not like those whistles.
This guy's handing out a whistle. This will fix your wagons. Telling me I can't put a shed in my backyard. Okay, fine, go ahead. Sorry.
Anyway, so obviously we hear every year NBA ratings are down and the NBA Finals ratings have been down, and they have been. Well, baseball has just had this rejuvenation, and it's very interesting because you don't hear as much baseball talked about until really this year, until you got to ALCS, NLCS, and then the World Series. So 31, it topped at 31.5 million Game 7. Now, obviously, you can lay out the reasons why this year was a little different. It was Shohei. He's the biggest star, right? It's him and Aaron Judge, but he is the biggest star. Not to mention it's the Dodgers. So you have a team that people either hate or a lot of people love.
Yeah.
It's LA, and it was a weekend, Friday and Saturday. What a perfect scenario for this year for baseball to maximize their ratings. But does it mean that they have now taken back? Because people have debated this forever. Does it mean it is now the second biggest sport in this country once again?
Well, if we're counting college football is number 2. If we're really doing it like that, but if you just want to stick to the sports, I think it's debatable a little bit with basketball and baseball, the NBA and Major League Baseball, because right now, and I think they do switch. Because I think when you have I think was it Alex Rodriguez who said it? Like, you need a Goliath. You need somebody that everybody's starting to root against, and that's what's happening with the Dodgers. People are like everywhere else, they're starting to actively start to treat the Dodgers like we've treated the Yankees for so many years. The Yankees haven't won a World Series since I was in college. So it's kind of been a while. Now, you still treat the Yankees as if they're the Yankees, but it's like, I can be jealous of the Dodgers and their money. I think it's a healthy thing. I love it. Like you brought up, and this is going to surprise a lot of people because, we make jokes about football guy. I don't think it's healthy that we have an obsession with one sport. I don't think it's healthy. As a complete and utter football guy in so many ways, even as a gag, I don't think it's a healthy thing. I think our country needs to be captivated by other sports at different times of the year. I feel it's a much healthier thing for our country to be wrapped up in the World Series on the same night that major college football is going on. I think it's a beautiful thing.
When I was young, I liked all these sports equally. I really did. If it was the World Series, that was the biggest deal in the world. If it was the NBA Finals, it was the biggest deal in the world. When it was the football playoffs, Super Bowl, biggest deal in the world. College hoops, the tournament, biggest deal in the world. It was all equal for me. I did not really sit there and go, this is a distant fifth for me. No, it was me and my buddies at school would talk about all these things the next day. And I think a lot of that is gone.
Well, I think part of that is still the easiest thing to find is the NFL on Sundays. The second easiest thing for me to find is college football on a Saturday. Now, I know that the networks and the streaming services have made that more difficult, but they haven't made it nearly as difficult as what baseball has or what Major League what the NBA has. Good, bad, ugly, whatever it is. But I still think it's so much better to have a country that on a Saturday night wraps itself up in Game 7 of the World Series instead of, all right, what's going to happen in the SEC with this South Carolina? Like, no. Baseball's baseball. The biggest stars are the biggest stars. It's a much better situation for game. Next week, we can worry about Lenora Sellers in South Carolina, and God knows who I'm thinking they have a bye week. But we can worry about all that stuff. I don't need to be talking about Dabo Swinney over Game 7 of the World Series.
But I do wonder if it would have been, say, the Kansas City Royals, taking on, give me a random NL team.
It wouldn't have been as big.
I think it would have got a fraction of the rating. So I don't know that we can just project and say, no, that's it. Baseball's going to do this number every single year. I don't think. And by the way, the NBA last year, what was the finals? Indiana and Oklahoma City. Indiana had nobody that had national power. You you had a guy hitting game winners and big comebacks from behind. But the public's always later to that. The mass public, they're always the casuals are way later to Tyrese Halliburton. Yeah. And SGA.
Well, nobody, and you find neither of them offensive. Like there are people, like Owen brings up gambling any time we talk about Shohei Ohtani.
I just don't think it's fair that he got a fall guy for it.
Owen absolutely wants Shohei Ohtani to pay some sort of penalty or thinks that there's some
banned for life.
Yeah, you think there's something fishy. So I imagine you were rooting against the Dodgers. Like there's a root against the Dodgers. Toronto, we could do the whole America-Canada thing if you really, really wanted to, but there was some intrigue there. I don't think it has to stay that way every year. Like it's still entertainment, and entertainment at its base is still good versus evil, depending on what side you're on.
Like if it were
in the NBA, I don't have a problem with either one of those teams.
But if it were the Lakers and Knicks this year in the NBA Finals, I'm pretty sure the ratings would be much higher than they were last year with Oklahoma City. If you had LeBron, I think if you had any of the big, if Steph Curry, if it was Golden State and Steph Curry, I think the ratings instantly would be 50% better than they were last year.
While there's still a lot of people who live in New York and LA, there's still a lot of people who live elsewhere and don't like those two cities, or don't like those two sports teams, I should say, from those cities, and want either one of them to lose. So I think it's probably better for the sports if you have like a Knicks versus the Thunder, or a Lakers versus the Cavs, or whatever you wanted to do. I think it's a little bit better to have Toronto, who spent, $250 million, look like the plucky upstart. That's a beautiful thing. I'll give credit where it's due. And yeah, as a football guy, I love it, and I think it's very, very healthy for the country and when it comes to our sports. Coming up at 9, Jason Lloyd going to join us on the show. Rat Boy and the Hog. We enter the neutral zone where the no-fun league is struck again, and both NFL head coaches in Ohio have the same problem. Ken Carman, Toastmaster General on the Fan. Daisy Dips, you ain't got no problem when you buy those. Get to your nearest convenience store. Get to your
This is Joe Checkeye for 92.3 The Fan.
Sign up to be a part of the fan club. Download the free Odyssey app and follow 92.3 The Fan to get all of the best audio and best stories sent straight to your inbox. 92.3thefan.com. It's time for the Neutral Zone with Rat Boy and the Hog. Crank it up and rip off the knob.
We got week 9 of the NFL season in the books, and last night was the capper, a win for the Arizona Cardinals over the Dallas Cowboys, 27-17. Later in the fourth quarter, there was an incident involving Dallas receiver George Pickens. This audio courtesy of ESPN.
To the sideline and a first down catch by Pickens. And now a flag for what happened after the play. I think that's going to be taunting because it looked like number 3 held the ball out toward the defender. Boy, that is going to be a big penalty as he held it out to Denzel Burke, and he just can't.
It's a point of emphasis for this league. It doesn't look like much. The players know it's a costly penalty.
This has already infiltrated college. We don't need more of the NFL.
Why is this a point of emphasis? Who's watching?
They don't want anybody to get in a fight. They don't want guys to start swinging at each other. They want it as
but that happens
clean as possible.
There was trash talking going on the entire game. From what people were saying,
you could hear the Cardinals. You could hear the Cardinals swearing on air, like on the ESPN broadcast.
So that's the stuff that's going to cause the fight. I don't understand. Like, hey, I made a great catch or I made a good catch, and now I get it's the NFL. In sports in general, there is a celebratory reaction after every good play in every sport now.
This goes.
So what is the big deal here? And in football, who are the people that are really that against at the highest level taunting? I have zero problem with taunting.
This goes with my theory about how the Browns don't get calls. The Browns don't get calls because, one, that you're not very good, and so you're sloppy, and so you definitely commit penalties. But like questionable calls, they always seem to go another team's way, which you've said it a million times. No team thinks they get calls, but the Browns don't get calls because I think it's a human condition that when you expect failure out of a certain group of people, that, you're going to call it against him if you're in a position of power. And George Pickens has a history of being a goofball. Now, he's been a church mouse this season.
Yeah.
But George Pickens has a history of being a goof.
There was nothing wrong here.
So I think that guy sees George Pickens, and I don't know if anything was said that was completely out of character, out of line, or anything like that. But the guy threw a flag, and he shouldn't have thrown a flag. There was 50 seconds left to go in the ball game. You're trying to drive. Know the situation.
Well, why after touchdowns is every team allowed to do a full-scale, full team runs into the end zone or after an interception, and they get to do a choreographed song and dance? NFL's okay with that. But what he did here, you'd have to see it. It's a joke that this is a penalty.
We also had some commentary from Zach Taylor yesterday in his Bengals press conference after another heartbreaking loss for Cincinnati. He responded to Chase Brown's comments about closing out games.
Not if you're not doing everything you can on your own, and I've pointed that out with Chase. There was 2 big plays that we could have done better that would have led to points. And so I think I liked Jamar a little bit better. I can tell Jamar's frustrated, but he didn't want guys coming at him if he's had a poor performance or something that he was disappointed in. So I trust that that's a one-time thing, and we'll learn from that. That's not how we want to react. And one of our best players, one of our highest character players, I think in a moment's frustration said that, and I don't expect that to happen again.
We talk about most desirable jobs.
We'll find out against the Steelers on the 16th.
Who's going to be the next Bengals coach? Is it going to be desirable? Because he's done at the end of the year. Zach Taylor. They're not wasting any more time with Joe Burrow.
Is Joe Burrow retiring? Joe Burrow still plays for the Bengals? Yeah. Then it's desirable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's also the Bengals. So the cheapskate Bengals, they're openly joking about that all across the league.
Yeah.
So is that worth it? Is it worth it to go to the cheapskate organization, but that has Joe Burrow, but he can't stay healthy?
I'm going to be given every opportunity in the world to keep my job, and I have Joe Burrow. Yes, it is a desirable situation. Maybe not as much for free agent players, but for a coach, I think it's definitely a desirable situation.
Speaking of quarterbacks, yesterday, 2 days ago, Jackson Dart, after the Giants loss to the 49ers here, taking the blame despite another solid performance.
It's definitely a sour taste, but, we got to be able to come out in the second half and respond better and play, complimentary football. How did you think you played today? It don't matter, we lost.
I think he's been awesome to watch this year.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not totally convinced. I've seen people already drag the Browns up and down for not taking him based on how he's played so far this year.
Who was saying to take Jackson Dart other than the one caller we talked to? We had one guy who
Now that's
called in.
us. We're not the ones that actually have to do this for a living. And the Browns actually were up close and personal with him to a different extent because, Bubba Ventrone coached him in the Senior Bowl, right?
Okay.
So what did they not like about him that the Giants did like about him? And the Giants, I think they've been blown away by him so far this year.
Well, yeah.
While the Browns are still looking for their quarterback.
And the best thing for Giants fans, they're getting their cake and eating it too because they don't really like Daboll and they don't really like Joe Shane, and it seems that those guys are going to get blown out after this year.
They get another good pick.
And they like Jackson Dart. I'm glad that he's shouldering the burden. I think it's very hard for a young quarterback to do because there's so many things that are out of your control. I think winning is so important to young guys. Like, people are critical of J.J. McCarthy. I asked you because, he's won games and his stat line is not great. And it's like, no. If you win the game, you get to play with confidence, and it shows that you can do it, and then you start to build off of that. It's kind of the Russell Wilson idea. That, hey, man, you're going to win some games maybe you don't deserve to, but as long as we're staying confident, then we can start to work on this instead of you going in the doldrums, and then we can never get you back. So, I think J.J. McCarthy has a chance. Bo Nix is winning games with not great stat lines. Bo Nix definitely has a chance to keep going and be a franchise guy. And I worry about Jackson Dart because of the losing, and you had guys that seem to really want to change that culture, but I don't know if you have enough of them anymore because there's only so much Scatabo can do from the sidelines, rooting his team on after that horrific injury. Yes.
Staying on the topic of NFC East quarterbacks, this is Dan Quinn yesterday talking about the injury to Jaden Daniels and the Commanders' loss the other night.
I know many of you have been asking about the thought process of Jaden being in the game in that situation, and I get that. I've been thinking about it, honestly, nonstop, too, and, for me, the answer is, man, I missed it. At the start of the fourth quarter, I guess it was probably 12 and a half minutes left in the game, and that was going to be the last drive for a couple of guys. We weren't going to have any read-run plays, meaning no carries for the quarterback on a run. Honestly, man, that's where I missed it. Of course, he could scramble. It's Jaden. It's what he's special at, and that is 100% that's on me.
It's very Brownsian. Is what happening to the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, but I have to say, there is a fine line between every press conference saying, it's all my fault, I'm the reason. And then there's a strategic time. I actually think that makes him look way better in the locker room. He made a mistake, he owned up to it. I think people respect that. And yeah, they're having an abysmal season. But I think you can also get carried away with it. You can't always be like, it's my fault, because then it rings hollow.
Well, no,
then it's like, are you even a good coach?
It just turns into, we got to coach better. We got to be better. Like, that's what it turns into. Because you're just getting through the press conference. I can tell Dan Quinn means what he's saying.
Right.
And he's upset with it.
Right.
Now,
I can't tell that in the Brown situation.
That's an organization that, when we talk about, quarterback can change everything. You got to be careful, though. Like, they were drafted number 1 or number 2 overall when they got number 2 overall when they got Jaden Daniels. Like, They were on a heater, but when you look at the skeleton of the franchise, of the roster, it's like, it's not as deep as what you want to make it out to be. You got some older wide receivers who are banged up that you brought in. You tried to hot shot it, and I can understand because you have a rookie quarterback. But that's part of the risk that you deal with. And for Dan Quinn, I don't think it's a fireable offense. I got to see, though, how they respond to the rest of the season. And if they're still following Dan Quinn into the fire of the rest of the season, then yeah, okay, it was a terrible mistake, but I'm going to keep this man in charge. He's a leader of men. But you know what? If they quit on this guy, I think it's up for grabs at the end of the year.
And that's it for the Neutral Zone with Rat Boy and the Hog.
Fantastic. I like how you announce it at the end. That's well done.
I was trying to, yeah.
Yeah, you're a good PA announcer. You're a good guy. Jason Lloyd, The Athletic. Was this Kevin's decision to make? And our buddy Jeff Chanel asking the tough questions. That comes up at 9:20. But Jason going to join us next. Was this Kevin's decision to make? The Culligan man. Okay, I'm kidding. He's awake, and I can't call him that now. Jason's going to join us from The Athletic coming up here in 5 on The Fan.
Anthony Lima, Floors with AZ Fall.
Stephen Vogt tries for his second straight AL Manager of the Year award. That winner will be named a week from tonight. Want to catch highlights from The Fan from earlier today? Get over to 923thefan.com or favorite 923 The Fan on the Odyssey app for all today's headline segments. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 923 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Whenever you need to talk about the Browns, we got you covered. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Your chance to be a winner right now. Enter the code word FOOLS at 923thefan.com before 10 a.m. Your chance to win a pair of tickets to OAR 3 Decades Tour with Gavin DeGraw and KT Tunsil, Friday, September 11th. 2026 Matt Blossom Music Center. Tickets go on sale this Friday, November 7th at livenation.com, all from Live Nation and The Fan.
Our favorite Browns reporter is at it again. That coming up at 9:20. Because our favorite Browns reporter is not Jason Lloyd, because he covers everything. And he joins us on the Fan Hotline. He's on The Athletic. He's from The Athletic. He's also, you hear him on the Fan working with us when one of us are out. Hello, Jason.
Hi, boys.
Who ordered the code red? That scene wouldn't have worked if Jack Nicholson just laughed at him.
Well, the fact that you even, first of all, you have to ask that and then lead with that is part of what I keep saying is the larger issue facing the Browns. Like the fact that every decision that comes down, and it's fair, you have to ask, well, whose decision was this? Was this the owner? Was this the GM? Was this the head coach acting on his own accord? Like that's what drives me crazy about the Browns. I have no idea who ordered it. I wouldn't be shocked if someone strongly encouraged Kevin to give it up. I wouldn't be. I was a little bit surprised that it happened. I was. It's the easy thing to do, right? When an offense isn't working, is fans call in and scream at you guys, give up the play calling, and people in the media scream, give up the play calling. But rarely does it happen. And I can't recall. Tell me if I'm wrong. I can't recall it ever happening 2 years in a row.
I didn't think he would do it again. I was shocked yesterday. I was too. I did not think I heard him say it, and I just thought it was like, he's just saying it to say it. I did not think he'd really give up play calling.
Can you recall this happening two consecutive seasons with a head coach?
Did Sirianni do it?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I'm asking maybe 2 out of 3 years, or
I don't know. And obviously survived. Not only survived, won a Super Bowl. But it's so unusual. It's so unusual. And last year, you could kind of make the case that, I wasn't sure that I believed that he did it on his own accord, but I did, it is a logical excuse to say, hey, I need to go be a head coach, because there were little fires all over the place. Defense was not playing well last year. Special teams was a catastrophe. Everything was a mess. And it's like, okay, you know what? I need to go be a head coach. And you could buy that. This year, it is only the offense. The special teams has had blurbs here and there. The defense is fine. Defense is playing well. It is the offense. And it feels like the head coach throwing his hands up and saying, maybe someone else can figure this out. I maintain it's a lack of talent more than anything else. There's just no talent on this offense outside of Judkins, who's a rookie. But we'll see. It's a huge opportunity for Tommy. It's a great opportunity for Tommy. He's already had head coaching interviews with the North Carolina, and they kind of had to give him he earned it, but promote him to OC, or else lose him to another staff last year. So if he comes in and turns this around and actually gets production out of this offense, it really sets him up well to take another leap next year.
Yeah, I said a week ago, if they weren't going to give him the play calling duties, then why was he hired here? What was the point of bringing him in?
Because you had to get rid of Ken Dorsey.
Yeah, sure.
That's why. And you didn't want to lose him. He's a bright offensive mind. Obviously, he's very well respected. Nick brought him to Alabama. It was a coup when the Browns got him. It was kind of a like, wow, that's pretty good get.
A coup? I think maybe Clay Kubiak would have been a coup had they have been able to get him.
A coup.
Well, I mean, go back and look. He was one of those bright young offensive minds, a hot candidate on the coaching levels, and it was a good get for them to bring him onto that staff. And in order for them to keep him this year, they were going to have to give him the OC job.
All right, Jason Lloyd with us right now. So are we looking at the last week of Dillon Gabriel as the quarterback of the Browns?
I don't know. I tend to say no, but I do think Shador is going to play at some point. I don't know that we're there yet. I just don't think that we are. I think that they're going to keep running Dillon out there, barring injury or total collapse and catastrophe. I mean, yeah, obviously it hasn't looked good. Obviously, I thought his best game was his first game, and I thought it's progressively. Not that was. I mean, you and I argued about that at the time about the Minnesota game, but what he's done since, I just think that he's regressed, not progressed in the weeks that followed. But it's still only a handful of games, and I think that they're going to keep running him out there.
Really?
We got a lot of season left. Where do you go next? If you bench Dillon now, and you go to Shador, and that doesn't work. You give that 4 or 5 games, and that doesn't work. You still got a month of football.
Well, if he's not practicing, he didn't practice yesterday, so I imagine he's not probably going to be active Sunday.
I think there's going to be a 30 for 30 on this Shador season with the Browns.
What do you mean by that? What do you know? What do you know? What did you just walk into? You tell us what you know right now.
No, I mean, come on. There's obviously a lot going on behind the scenes. I think that's pretty evident. Like, I don't think you have to be a crack reporter to figure that out.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Like, I just think that there's a lot there.
So when is he going to play?
I don't know. I do think he'll play. Like, he kept him around this long.
That's not an answer. Come on. When do you think he's going to play?
I don't know. December.
Can we get to the behind the scenes thing? I'm kind of more interested in that. To be honest,
I'm trying to get to it, but I can't just ask it.
No, I'm not. Listen,
well, here's why. Hold on, Jason. He is somebody. I think it's very cool that he'll go to these high schools. He's gone to some local colleges. You see him kind of throwing with guys. I don't even know if that constitutes extra work, but he's been out in the community. I think he's been showing off Cleveland in a cool way, right? But when you say there's stuff going on behind the scenes,
well, don't run away with this. I'm just saying, like, the fact that he's as high profile as he is, that they take him where they take him, that there's been this jostling of him on the depth chart. Now there's this back injury. Like, there's just a lot. There's just a lot of noise, and that's part of the Shador experience. There's just a lot of noise all the time.
Do guys with back injuries typically fly across the country when they're rehabbing?
That's what I'm saying.
That struck me as odd. I got to be honest. I don't hear a lot of that. Normally, that's not an ideal situation.
Well, it was good for him to get away. It was good for him to go see his family, especially rookies going through this for the first time. Obviously, it's been a struggle for him just in terms of how he thought his NFL career was going to go a year ago at this time and how it's actually gone. If guys are really hurt, usually they keep them at the facility to rehab. I shouldn't say usually. I've heard of it happening quite often.
Well, can't you take a Saturday off?
Sure.
I know. You're making too much sense. That's not what he wants. That's not what he wants. He wants you to tell him that he's not taking the job. I know what Anthony wants. He wants you, Jason, to tell him that he's not taking the job very seriously, not taking the opportunity very seriously. That's what Anthony wants. He's not denying what I'm saying.
It's the bye week. Like, let the kid go see his family.
Go see his
father.
All do
it.
Tone.
Yes.
Like, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that at all.
It's not a big deal. That's part of it. It's not a big deal.
Wait a minute. Sorry, Jason. You just said that. Is it typical for guys? I know how you ask questions. I know how the wizard works. You asked, is it typical for people to fly across the country with a back injury?
Yeah.
That's what you said. So I know what you were aiming at when you asked Jason that question. Jason knows what you were aiming at. Don't sit there and play patsy with him.
I thought it was very cool that he's surprised. Remember, he had that video on Twitch that we played, some of the audio. with him talking about how it was important for him to stay in town, to be big ready at any time. And then that threw his dad off, I'm sure. And then he surprised him. That was a great homecoming. And then then they got their asses killed in Boulder.
Just let the kid go see his family.
I was at Jason's dad's funeral.
You were?
I had to go because I had to go use the bathroom. So I told Joe Varden to tell you I'd send my regards, and I had to get the hell out of there.
There was about 300 people in line.
I had no idea your dad was such a popular figure. I would have showed up way earlier. It was unbelievable. I showed up. I go, what is this? Is there a high school graduation going on next to it or something? They were directing traffic. It was unbelievable. I had no idea Jason's dad is the most beloved person in Lorain County history. Anyway.
Well, I pulled Tad Carper and Sarah Jameson out of line. I should have done that with you. I don't think I saw you.
The best move Dan Coughlin ever did when his wife passed away is he started walking through the line. And getting people, he's like, this is running too long. We got to get people out of here. This is such a great idea. I told Liz, I go, if there's actually people at mine, you got to do that. You got to do that. Anyway, back on track. You're talking about things that are passing away. The Browns season. Jason Lloyd joins us from The Athletic. So this is what I think bothers everybody, and this is what I hate. I got to tell you, Jason. Is okay. I've called you the Culligan man, and I've made a lot of jokes about you carrying water for Kevin. But I also think that this goes both ways. I look at what Kevin does, and I go, okay, now what's Tommy Rees going to do? I don't think he's any sort of magician, and your ingredients are still your ingredients. So is he going to turn this wide receiver group into, Alvin Harper and Michael Irvin? No. So I got to tell you, I'm expecting more of the same, just with a different coat of paint.
And that's why I was a little bit surprised that Kevin made the decision. But who knows? Maybe we'll all be surprised. Maybe there is something to get out of this. I've run the numbers out before. They are among the slowest receiving group in the NFL. They don't create separation. They don't catch passes. They don't catch contested passes, and they drop first downs. They lead the league in drop first downs. I don't know how changing play callers will change any of that. Plus, they've got a rookie third-round quarterback who has struggled badly. So I don't know how changing the play caller changes all that. But, listen, if the Browns come out here and Dillon throws for 300 yards and they hang 30 points on the Jets, we're going to have a pretty interesting conversation next week. Mm-hmm. I don't know that I expect that to happen, but if it does, is that an indictment on Kevin? Yeah, you could certainly make that case. Like the Flacco thing, everyone throwing their hands up and screaming about Flacco. I'm like, well, what would his numbers be if he was throwing to Isaiah Bond and Cedric Tillman? What would his numbers be in Cincinnati? The fact that he sees Jamar Chase on the field and he could be triple teamed and he's just going to throw it up there and know that he's targeted him 42 times over 2 weeks. Like, is this really an intricate offense, or is this a veteran quarterback knowing where the best receiver in the NFL is, and I'm just going to throw it to him and let him go?
All right, Lloyd, let's get to what's left then. If the receivers are having those kind of issues, I do think the offensive line stepped up in terms of the at least protecting Dillon Gabriel last game. Is there something to build on there? No. Okay.
Not at the tackle spot. No. I mean, I said it all year. The offensive line is kind of a crisis mode, is it not? Like the fact that you don't have any of these guys under contract for next year. I mean, if you think Whippler's ready, okay, there's your center. He's been here for however many years.
That's one.
He better be ready. Yeah, that's one. Joel more than likely is going to retire, so you got to fill that. Zach Zinner can't even get dressed on Sunday. He was supposed to be that guy ready to go.
What's going on there? What's going on there?
He's terrible. That's what's going on.
He's just bad?
Nothing. Yeah.
How?
It's been a massive disappointment.
How?
And I wondered. I don't know.
He was really good in college. Like right before the injury, he was like, I don't want to say elite, but damn, he was really good.
That was the one that you thought, okay, they got something here. Like never even a question that he could bust as a guard. Like it's easier for tackles to bust than guards. It just hasn't worked. And like they had terrible line coaching last year. Mike Vrabel became the de facto offensive line coach by week 2 or 3 or whatever it was. They obviously made the change. I thought, okay, let's give another chance. Maybe it's just rookie struggles. I don't know if there's any lingering effect of the injury. Didn't work with the line coach. It could be a variety of reasons as to why. But the fact that he still can't get on the field, is alarming. Like that's really troubling. And I just from poking around and talking to people, it's kind of head shakes. Like it's bad. So he tried him last year in some spots, and I think he played in there was that stretch where they played NFC East teams that had really good defensive tackles, and he basically got mauled. And again, you think, okay, well, he's going against really good defensive tackles, maybe, and it just hasn't worked. So, I made the case earlier. You might have to bring Wyatt Teller back. I kind of thought this might be Wyatt's last year, but you might have to bring him back. Do you want to bring Jack Conklin back? He can't stay healthy.
No.
DeJuan Jones every season ends with surgery before the season's over. How can you count on him for a spot? So you're right there. You're going to need 2 tackles. There's just a lot of holes on that offensive line. And we haven't even got to the receiver and the quarterback and all that. So this whole they were never going to fill all their spots in one draft, all their holes with one draft. But yeah, there is still, like I look at like left tackle, quarterback, receiver. You need number 1 picks. You would like, ideally, I would think, number 1 picks for those 3 spots. And you've got 2 picks next year for 3 spots. And if you need to bundle the 2 to move up to get a quarterback, although that may not be necessary with how poorly this is going, hopefully they'll still have 2 number 1 picks next year to use. But there's a lot of holes that they're going to have to address. The offensive line is to me is really, really concerning. We spend so much time talking about everything else. You're going to have to draft the tackles more than likely. I know they got lucky on the Teller trade. They traded like Dorsey traded like 2/5, I think, to get Wyatt or something like that, and they stumbled into a Pro Bowl guard. After the guard they drafted, I forget that guy's name, Austin Corbett. After that didn't work,
he ended up being okay, Austin Corbett, but not Wyatt Teller. Not Wyatt Teller.
And that's why, like, you kind of hold out hope for Zinter that maybe something will click because he was such a good college player, but 2 years in, it's just not there yet.
Jason, as an aside, has baseball eclipsed the NBA?
No, I don't think so. I think I know the numbers were tremendous because the series was tremendous, but I don't think that the sport, and I love baseball, by the way, like that's my number. I love baseball, but I still think NBA is number 2. There's a work stoppage more than likely coming in baseball soon that will probably hurt in terms of popularity and crowds and all that. So I still think NBA is 2, but that was a tremendous, tremendous series.
All righty. Jason, thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Talk again.
Yeah. Bye. Jason Lloyd, The Athletic, on the Fan Hotline. Yeah, I'm not going to take that bait that you're laying down. I ain't going to do it. I'm just letting you know that right now. I got 40 minutes left to go in the show, and it ain't going to happen. So if you want to keep trying to bait me about the Shador stuff, it ain't going to happen. Okay?
It was Jason. He says there's behind-the-scenes stuff going on. Wouldn't elaborate. What's the behind-the-scenes stuff?
I don't know. I don't think it's a great idea to speculate. What do you think of that?
Do you think Shador's people want him playing in this situation? Now,
for the love of God.
Now new offensive coordinator, no receivers, offensive line shaky.
You don't think we should speculate in sports talk radio? That's the whole gig, Ken.
All right, let me think about this. Also, our favorite Browns reporter is at it again. And it was fantastic yesterday. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, live on the Fan. KC Roofing, this is something I'm passionate about. KC.
celebrity guests. Be sure to follow and listen to Simpsons Declassified wherever you get your podcasts.
You can now watch The Fan live on YouTube. Catch The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima from 6 to 10 a.m. and Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin from 2 to 7 p.m. each and every weekday. It's free. Subscribe to 92.3 The Fan on YouTube.
Surfside with the Cavs! And Jason Lloyd was just with us. Sorry to yell. Jason Lloyd was just with us. Big basketball guy. Cavs are off today.
Big
they play
matchup
tomorrow against the Philadelphia 76ers. Is Joel Embiid going to play?
You never know with
never
him,
know.
But they're getting McCain back. They've been one of the stories of the early season.
John McCain?
We're going to be wearing the throwback uniforms, so I'm excited about that.
And that is the Surfside Cavs update presented by the fine folks at Surfside. You got throwbacks going on. Those will be fun.
They will be fun. Also, Donovan Mitchell's shooting has been the best of his career.
Well, Donovan Mitchell
from the outside.
I mean, you don't got to worry about Donovan Mitchell. That ain't the one I'm worried about.
He's basically bailing out an otherwise very average offense so far this year.
Well, they
With
got
no Darius, no
Darius out, and Max is hurt. Okay, it's going to be a little average. Jalen Tyson is stepping up, though. You like Jalen Tyson?
Yeah, last few games have been awesome.
Okay, that is the Cavs report brought to you by the fine folks at Surfside. So speaking of tough questions, you've been asking the whole break, what does he mean by behind the scenes? What does Jason mean by
Yeah.
We're going to get to that here in a second. However, everybody wants to know how the Browns feel about Joe Flacco and how he's playing. Well, our favorite Browns reporter, Jeff Shador, he's asking the tough questions.
When you see what Joe Flacco's doing down there in Cincinnati, even if you're not watching the game, throwing touchdown passes all over the field, what do you think? When he couldn't put those numbers up with the receivers you have here.
Yeah, I don't really have a comment on Joe or any players on other teams. I don't think it's appropriate.
The results are so contrasting.
Yeah, I understand the question, but I really don't have a comment.
Throw another Shadell on the Barbie.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Oh, God, I love him.
So is it inappropriate for Stefanski to have a comment?
No.
I don't think it's... would it be inappropriate for him to say that... Because remember, when they traded him, they did not say that they thought he was washed, that they just... it was a failure here. They were just like, no, Cincinnati called us, so we extracted value out of it. Like, they didn't crap on him out the door.
I got to think how I would answer it. Here we go. Hit it.
When you see what Joe Flacco's doing down there in Cincinnati, even if you're not watching the game, throwing touchdown passes all over the field, what do you think? When he couldn't put those numbers up with the receivers you have here.
Yeah, I don't really have a comment on Joe or any players on other teams. I don't think it's appropriate.
The results are so contrasting.
Yeah, I understand the question, but I really don't have a comment.
Just throwing touchdown passes all over the field. The results are so contrast.
Playing like some of the best. It literally is some of the best he has played the position in his whole career.
Evan, he's throwing touchdown passes all over the field. Your offense can't get its head out of its own ass. The results are so contrast.
One's good, one's bad. It was great, now it's terrible with you.
Do you have a comment on that?
You have anything to
just
add?
another in a long list of Shadell.
Jeff, you good?
Really just one little thing. It's really that close because from the outside it does not look that way.
Yeah, from the outside looking in, it could be like that. It could be hard to see.
All right, Jeff, we'll come back to you.
Giving our best and try to go win the game series.
I mean, you tried that last year. I mean, you personally, what did you learn as a head coach?
I don't know. Thank you.
All right, Jeff, we'll try again.
What can you guys...
You watch film? You watch the film?
I watched the game.
Did you watch the film or you watched the game?
I did not watch the film. So, did they not have you guys covered there?
Watch the film and come back, actually.
All right, Jeff.
Did you believe him when he told you it wasn't on you?
Did I believe him? Yeah. I mean, I feel like you're trying to start stuff now.
We'll try again.
Yeah, sorry about that. My cat walked across my keyboard. You have vacation? Where are you going on vacation?
Yeah, location undisclosed, Jeff, so you don't bother me.
The best is whoever is calling on him, there has to be some excitement. They've got to be like, all right, what's Jeff going to have on his plate this time?
If we can just, at one point in the future, Somebody has to go find the "Where are you calling from," Josh?
I was looking for it earlier.
Okay, I imagine you did,
when they brought Josh McCown in. Yeah.
Josh McCown is. Where are you calling from, Josh? I love Jeff.
The Bickerstaff one was great.
I love Jeff. Yeah, that was.
There's
really
a
good.
Tito one that I remember out there too. It's
yeah. Oh yeah.
We'll get some more.
So Jeff asked the questions a lot of fans just want to ask. Like, what do you feel about? He's got to ask it, and he did, and he asked it. And
I just don't
if
think.
I were Kevin,
what's inappropriate? Just say I'm so happy for him.
What's
it's good to see.
The only thing is,
you're not supposed to comment on other teams' players when they're actively playing for the other team. So that's what he means by inappropriate. Now, that might just be a word that they use. The other part of it is, what else is he going to say? Yeah, he's got great wide receivers. I've been left with this. So he's not going to sit there and rip his own players. So there's nothing the guy can say.
Honestly, that is what he's doing, isn't it? Isn't his response basically like, okay, anything I say now is going to make it seem like I can't believe the weapons he had to work with here compared to what he's got now.
Yes. And that's why guys, this is not to sit there and hopefully dissuade Jeff from no, please no. Because if Jeff keeps asking these questions, he's going to catch somebody in a moment where they go, yeah, you know what? He's got great wide receivers to throw to, and what do I got? I mean, that Chase Brown. And the hell, they lost the game, and Chase Brown's ripping their defense, and their defense is terrible. And they're going, well, Chase Brown can't say that. Yes, he can. Yes, he can. When the season's going straight to hell, and you don't have any respect, really, for the people in charge, because I don't think Chase Brown does, and you don't have respect for the guys on the other side of the ball when you're putting up 40 points in a football game, like, yeah, you're going to say it. When you lose respect for things, you say those things in that setting. And so Jeff is going to continue to poke and prod until they eventually say it, as long as Joe goes out there and plays good football, or as long as Baker plays good football. And tomorrow's another opportunity to ask about Jacoby Brissett doing a good job yesterday.
Yeah, I understand the question, but I really don't have a comment.
Kevin, what'd you think of Jacoby Brissett having a great game with Jonathan Gannon? St. Ignatius guy was on the list.
Yep.
He was on the list of odds. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I understand the question, but I really don't have a comment.
It's glorious. All right, back to the whole thing. I don't know the 30 for 30 thing that Jason just said. You guys are causing problems that we don't need.
There's going to be a 30 for 30 on this Shador season with the Browns.
What do you mean by that? What do you know? What do you know? What did you just walk into? You tell us what you know right now.
No, I mean, there's obviously a lot going on behind the scenes. I think that's pretty evident. Like, I don't think you have to be a crack reporter to figure that out.
So when is he going to play?
I don't know. I do think he'll play. Like, I kept him around this long.
That's not an answer. Come on. When do you think he's going to play?
I don't know. December. There's just a lot of noise, and that's part of the Shador experience. There's just a lot of noise all the time.
Have you thought about it in those terms? I haven't. I haven't thought that there's been a ton of noise with Shador.
You're full of garbage. There is no. I almost said something I had to dump. You are totally full of it. What do you mean you don't feel there's been a lot of noise around?
I think
Shador?
other than reporters sticking microphones in his face, which they didn't after the last game, which was weird after they did the 2 games before. But
well, he was in the game. He was probably in the training room getting treatment. And when you're in the training room, no reporters are allowed back there. Boom.
Are the reporters allowed on the cross-country flights? And was he getting treatment on the cross-country flight?
They're not on the same. They're not on you can't just go up to somebody and just ask them out of nowhere. No. This isn't TMZ.
That is what. That is exactly what Daryl said happened. He said you can just go up with a microphone to anybody.
When he's at his locker, during an open session.
After the games.
Yes, when they open the locker room to media.
So he went and hid somewhere else after the last game?
Don't use the term hid. He didn't hide anywhere. He didn't. Don't say hide.
So where was he?
I know what you're doing. He's probably in the training room.
Oh. So the game ends.
Or taking a shower, or one of the other places that the media is not allowed to. Oh, you sit there and you wonder, you say these things and you wonder why people cuss you out on the internet all day. Well, I said I implied that he hid. I can't believe people are cussing me out. Ken, can you believe this? What do you mean?
I'm looking for answers. But I don't think it's been noisy. I really don't. I don't think it's been that noisy when it comes to Shador. What was Jason alluding to with all the noise of stuff that's happening.
I think he's talking about all this. I think he's talking about all this going on right now.
Well, he's the backup quarterback now, and the starter sucks. So you're going to talk about the backup. That's commonplace. Should he have been talked about when he was fourth string on national airways? Well, we had Trey Wingo respond to that yesterday and say that was a joke. It probably was. Fourth string on the Browns
when you're
dominating the headlines.
On the Browns, which means you're fast track to playing.
Well, yeah, when they trade the guys ahead
Browns.
of you.
It's not on the Patriots. It's not on the Patriots are a bad example, even though they're kicking ass this year, but historically I shouldn't say that over the last few years. It's not Kansas City. It's not the Chargers. It's not the Bills. It's the Browns. So don't be silly here. Don't just play Columbo like you do. All right? I know your tricks and I know your silliness. When you say the term hid, it's like when I said Andy Dalton's backup. That's the same thing as me saying that. Oh, he went and hid. I don't think he hid from anything. He might have been in the bathroom. He might have been in the shower. He might have been in the training room. Or he just thought, you know what? It's better if I don't have to sit here and answer questions about my back after we just got hammered again. Maybe that's the case. Maybe if you want to use the word hid, I'm not going to use the word hid. Maybe he just felt, you know what? It's better I don't sit there and answer questions about my back of all things while we just got hammered by the Patriots. That's not so bad. Is that so bad?
So maybe he learned from the fact that he kind of got criticized for talking after those other games, is what you're saying.
Who criticized him for talking?
Oh, a lot of people. Why were you talking to the third-string quarterback? That kept coming up.
They didn't criticize him. They criticized the media. They didn't criticize him.
No, I saw plenty of national criticism. Like, why is Shador Sanders talking?
Okay, the national people are wrong. Was he the last time he tried to not talk to you? Wait a minute.
Why is he talking about quarterback play in the whole league? And then it undermined. This happened. We reacted to it.
No. Again, don't try to speed it up. The last time he tried to not talk to anybody, he pantomimed. You guys ripped him for that. So what is he supposed to do? It's probably better if he hid. Quote unquote. It's better than he went away.
I did not rip him for that. I thought it was funny. He got ripped nationally. Yes, they were like, "Who is this? Is very immature."
So you're telling me that the guy can't do anything without getting ripped? And I think that it's probably for the best if he didn't say anything after the game.
That's part of the Shador experience that everybody signed up for, that he signed up for, his team of videographers signed up for. He's on his Twitch every night. He loves being famous.
He didn't sign up to have a bunch of people stick a microphone in his face as a third-team quarterback after a football game. He didn't sign up for that.
You don't think so?
No, that's why he probably avoided the media after the game.
I thought he has always embraced the cameras. You're telling me Shador Sanders has not embraced the cameras and fame? You're telling me that?
There are certain times to do it, and there's certain times not to do it.
Okay, we're talking about the same guy, right?
I don't even know where to go with this after what you've just said. What?
Go to break.
216-474-0092. We're going to go to break. There's people who want to get in. I'll get to you guys. And it's Kevin Stefanski raising the white flag. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima live on the Fan. Friends, Ken Carman.
during our best sale of the year.
Visit legacybox.com/value to get early access to our Black Friday sale and digitize your memories for only $9 a tape. Visit legacybox.com/value. legacybox.com/value.
All day long. All day. All the time. At work.
923thefan.com and the Odyssey app.
Check it out.
So do you think that this will make a difference? Tommy Rees?
Probably not, no.
No? Okay.
Because I don't see how...
I don't think so either.
Outside of Dylan Gabriel just getting better with more reps, more time, more game action, outside of that happening and a softer schedule, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're going to get the Ravens seem full strength again.
Yeah, well, the problem is in that last game against New England, again, this is where your first game was your best game. Your first game was your best game because they didn't have any tape on you. So you played against Minnesota, and it was the whole thing, he inspires hope. And I'm like, hope for what? To be a career backup? Okay, fine. Because after that, that's what happens to career backups. So you play like a 5 or 6 game swing. You don't want to. Coaches do not want you to have to play 6 games. Mm-hmm. At most 4, but really they don't want that. Like a couple, here and there, because you can go back to tape, but you're hoping that you can get by with people when there's been some time away. But after that, the Steelers game, bad. The Dolphins game didn't have to be good, but obviously a little. I would imagine, or I would say a little bit better than the Steelers. Not imagine. I mean, I was there watching it. And then the New England game was terrible. And when you go up against a quality opponent, you've had the Vikings are quality. The Steelers are quality most of the way. New England's quality. When you go up against quality, you're going to have a rough time. And Minnesota, you had the benefit of them never seeing you before. So what's going to make Dylan better? Well, I hope that he can respond to a really bad performance, because that's what that was, and he's had 2 weeks to think about it. And then I'm hoping that Tommy Rees seems to have some comfort level with him, can make him more comfortable playing within this offense. Because the whole thing he was supposed to do, he's not doing. The processing, conducting the offense, like he's some sort of maestro, doing any of this, he's not doing it. He's not playing confidently. He's not seeing the field. He's not putting himself in a position to win. Again, when you're taking such a sack when you're taking such a safety to not take a sack, you're not playing with your head on your shoulders. You're not thinking about the situation. It's a freak out. It's bad. It's college football. Can't have it.
Well, that's why I don't understand, any time people post college stats and they put up the graphics and they're like, how are you not playing this guy or whatever? It's like, watch Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel put up all sorts of numbers last year, right? It was pretty damn good in college. Had some big wins, massive wins, bigger than Shador. And how much of that, as we always see time and time again every year in college football, how much of that translates to the next level?
I'm not sure.
Oftentimes it doesn't.
No. And what this does is, again, it tells me that it's just a white flag to your philosophy. It's a white flag to what you stand for when it comes to your offense. You tried to do it last year, you gave up play calling. You tried to do it this year, you gave up play calling again. It tells me that you don't have a grip on what you want to do offensively. And you may very well not. You might just be telling us the truth. That's fine. That's fine. It's not fine if you want to be here long term. But you are admitting in so many ways, this is too much. I'm at my wit's end with this. I don't think I can do anything more with this. Let's get another set of eyes on it. And it wasn't going to be Ken Dorsey from last year, so you brought in the kid to see whether or not the kid could have it. Because I got to tell you, who knows what's going to happen at the end of this year. This is a team. I'll tell you guys this. This is a team that's always tried to correct its mistakes to the point where it's been overcorrected, learning from their mistakes to where the point it's been overcorrected. Again, you went from we're all analytical to John Dorsey. And what did John Dorsey say the first thing? We're going to get real football players in here. And there was a whole lot of moxie. I'd use a different term, but we're on the radio. There was a lot of hard nose and grit. And then, they hired Freddie because John wanted power and all the other things. And I know Dan Campbell scared them away. They were trying to find a happy medium. So then they went back the other way. And now they swing too far. They do that with everything. And I wonder, you've brought up, we had Kyle Shanahan in the building. Kyle Shanahan's gone. There's other guys. Kevin O'Connell was in the building. Kevin O'Connell's gone. So is Mike McDaniel. Now, Mike McDaniel, he'll be returned to an offensive coordinator role, and he'll probably do pretty well there. Do you think at all they're going, hey, this guy got head coaching looks at all these other places. He comes from the Saban tree. We have Tommy Rees in the building. Don't think there's not a chance where at the end of this season they're going to go, young guys in the building, 33 years old, offensive guy, knows quarterbacks, knows what to do with these guys. If you get anything out of Shador Sanders, if you get anything out of, if you get anything out of Dylan Gabriel, and then maybe you get anything out of Shador Sanders, all of a sudden you're thinking different. Not like in terms of quarterbacks, like they could still just draft a quarterback. But it's you understand what I'm saying. You've made a big deal about it, and so has the American public. Kyle Shanahan was in the building. He did the PowerPoint. You let him go. You kept somebody else, then you let him go at the end of that year. Should you have just made that move? We brought it up a million times. Here we are, young guy in the building.
Saying they're going to go Freddie Kitchens and make him the next head coach.
You know what, Tone? Would it ever surprise me? I don't. When you say Freddie Kitchens again, that's a loaded word. But we're talking.
That's exactly what happened.
You've let the young offensive quote unquote guru go before, and they're in other situations, and they're doing so much better than you. Minnesota's not out of the woods, but again, a win's a win, and you're getting J.J. McCarthy to respond in moments that you need him to respond. Just pointing it out. Getting good play out of situations you don't. Resurrecting the career of Sam Darnold. Can't resurrect someone else's career? I mean, you asked it. We'll ask the question tomorrow. Who's the next Baker? Who's the next Sam? I have an idea, and I'll save that for tomorrow. But this is the type of thing that makes you think, hey, maybe in so many ways this is an audition. Because you can't answer the question whether or not it was Kevin's decision. Jason couldn't answer the question whether or not it was Kevin's decision. If it's Kevin's decision, even if it is, don't think they're not sitting there wondering if they evaluate, going, hey, we're probably going to have a high first-round pick. We're probably going to have this. Is this somebody that we can hand over the reins to because we've let other young guys walk out of the building? Or is this the rantings and ravings of a man who follows a team that's 5-20 over the last 2 years?
Well, imagine if they get any kind of elevated play out of Gabriel or Sanders here at the end of the year, and then they use that to either hire Reese or not draft a quarterback in the first round next year, when there's going to be at least four guys that'll probably have first-round grades. That would be interesting.
Well, I have an idea for that. I have an idea where you can eat your cake and have it too. Have your cake and eat it too. How do you... Never mind. I do have a theory for tomorrow. I think you're going to like it. I think you'll like it. You're talking to you specifically, Tom. Podcast coming up, 10:15 Eastern, 92.3 The Fan Extra on the free Odyssey app. You want to get into that high school football question?
Which is?
Could we see Bo Pelini back in town in Cleveland? Could we see some of the other big names? Is there anything else you want to get into in the podcast? I guess you'll have to find out at 10:15 Eastern. For Big Country, for Jeff, for Mitch, for the Slippery Wizard Anthony Lima, I'm Ken Carman. Have a wonderful day, my friends.
But you clap.
Hey,
sounds good.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Loser town, loser fans, and you guys are a loser show.
Yeah, sorry about that. My cat walked across my keyboard.
This is Boomer Esiason with an Odyssey Sportsman.